Bold Lion, you are the first one to go in timeout. How is that possible? How is it possible that you are the first one to go to timeout? Unbelievable. To anybody else that joins this live, I want to say good afternoon and thank you for being patient here with me today. You guys get to know that the Bold Lion has been put in timeout for 5 minutes to the beginning of this live. Unbelievable. Bruh, you got to come in here and you got to say good morning. You got to say hello. Let me know. Let me know how you doing today. How you doing, Chris? Good morning. Unbelievable. Can you believe this guy? This guy just came in here and got put in timeout right away. Oh, just almost killed my introduction. Docito, how are you, brother? Good to see you this morning. Hey, happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the Dennis Herrera Show. You know what? I don't know. I feel like sometimes I should start changing the way that I talk. I'm going to say this. I want to say this. I've always been a big believer that you're going to talk according to your environment. And if you have a bunch of people, like let's say, for example, right, President Donald Trump got in trouble for his locker room talk. I get it. And listen, I have talked to many women, and I have asked them, I was like, I never understood why people have a problem with, I get it, perversion, right? Bad, dirty talk, blah, blah, blah. And I tell women, it's like, I don't blame people for getting mad at Trump, for saying the things that he said behind closed doors in a private conversation. And he said, and the women would just tell me, stop it. You have no idea. Us women, we talk dirtier than President Trump does. And they shut me up just like that. Good morning, Pamela. How are you? Roberto in Honduras and Robert here in America. Good morning. Brother, I'll tell you what. I try to go live like 5 times, okay? 5 times. And I couldn't get through. It finally allowed me, I can see the difference. It finally allowed me in here. I'm not going to blame YouTube. I think there might be something going on with my software that I use, okay? Maybe something's going on with the software that I use. Oh, man, this guy, can you guys believe this, man? The bold as a lion who always talks smack to me, always contradicts everything I say, always likes to insult me. The first thing that he says, let me read this deleted comment. He says, the Dennis Herrera Clown Show. That got him in timeout for 5 minutes. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm going to tell you something, guys. Don't underestimate the power of coffee. Salud. And I have to get some more. This is, I will say, my 2.5 cup. Now, I've been cheating because I have been using little sweeteners. Good morning, Brian, and good morning, my man in the house. Oh, no. Docito's administrator. Oh, man, I don't know about this. All right, here's the rules, guys. I'm gonna make my members. Docito, you a member? I don't know if you're a member. I know Robert is a member. All right, what we're gonna do today, guys? We are gonna. Man, I'm going to tell you right now, I got some mixed feelings about what's going on right now with all these lives that I've been watching. It's crazy. Well, let's see. What do we got here? Java, how you doing? Good afternoon. Brian Cab, good afternoon. Java, nice pic of Seattle. Yes, sir. Funny story about this picture. It is beautiful. Let me tell you. And... Man, let me tell you, man. Listen, When I took this picture, this is a very recent picture, okay? Very recent. Um, uh, when I went here, they are doing some construction on the side. You know what? Let me see if I can. If I don't know if I got pictures. Did I get pictures of this? Let me see if I see Seattle in here. I thought I did. I thought I did because I was going to share some with you. Let me see. Let me see. Give me a second. I'm going to look this up real quick and let's see. Wow, did a horrible job labeling these folders. This is what takes me so long. This is what takes me so long to make videos for you guys. Let me see if I just want to show you these pictures. What the heck happened to them? Bro, I got hundreds and thousands of pictures. You have no idea. I should just delete a bunch of them. Let me see. Where is, how about it maybe on this drive? And by the way, I got like 6 drives that I got like 6 drives on my computer. I built this computer, okay? I got about 6 drives on here, and I have a hard time finding all my stuff. I got to do like a huge, what do you call it? A huge inventory check. But anyways, here we go. Brian, don't worry. Thank you for listening. As you're driving, be safe. Oh, man, I don't know. I'm addicted, guys. I'm addicted to coffee. Too much addiction. But coffee is life. All right, so here we go. So I was taking this picture here from Seattle, which I love. I love Washington State. I love the Seattle city. I don't like going into downtown too much. It's just sometimes it's very stinky. The smell of marijuana in the air, it makes me nauseous. I don't care if people smoke weed. Let's just be clear. I don't care if they do. They can do whatever they want with their life, but it just makes me nauseous, which is weird, and I am not going to blame you if you like the smell of weed. I like the smell of a fresh lit, good tobacco or cigarette. Some cigarettes are very stinky. Some cigars are very stinky, so I understand when people don't like the smell. I get it. This is why when I used to smoke, going on 2.5 years, by the way, I'm just saying, 2.5 years, no smoking. I always ask people if it was okay that I smoked. You know, even if there were smokers, I don't know why, but even if there were smoke, I always ask if it was okay if I had a smoke. And that's just me. That's just how I've always been. I sometimes I'm very cautious, you know, and conscious of my surroundings and the people with me. But anyway, besides that, when I took this picture of Seattle, man, it breaks my heart what they're doing to our city and our state, to be honest. It really does. But when I took this picture, I always have my gun. I always carry my gun with me, okay? And so I have my gun in my hip, and you know there was a couple of guys that were coming towards me, and I didn't think anything of it, right? But you know they looked suspicious because they kept looking at me and looking down, looking at me and looking down, and I'm staring at them. I'm like, bro, you know what's up? It's yeah, I got a nice camera and all that stuff, but you know I moved myself sideways just to kind of show them the gun, and I don't really like to do that, but. You know, I showed them the gun and they turned around and they went somewhere else. I don't know. Hey, coincidence? I don't know. But let me tell you something. That didn't make me feel safe. And then there's a bunch of garbage around behind me on the side road. And there is a hospital right across the street. Now, there is supposed to be this little park right there, right behind me. And there is a covered, little area where they have like picnic tables, you know, and there was tents. There was homeless people sleeping in there. And there is a little path that goes down the hill right over here by these little trees. There's a path right to the left down here. And people go down there, and it's supposed to be a nice little walk. I never go down there because I don't want to provoke people into violence. And, you know, I'm just not that kind of guy. I don't like to go and get in people's faces and start showing cameras and doing all this stuff. So I tell you all that because as beautiful as the picture looks of Seattle, I didn't feel safe taking it, okay? I didn't feel safe taking it. Robert says the Dennis Herrera Truth Show, the truth and nothing but the truth for the coffee fund. My man, I appreciate it. I appreciate the coffee fund. You guys know I don't know anything about running for office or the rules. I should be really studying, to be honest. I should be studying about the things that I can and can't do. But I can tell you, I just don't think it's rocket science. I don't think that you have to be this politician. I don't think you have to be this a lawyer or some sort of CEO, manager, or sheriff, or whatever. I feel that any concerned American citizen should be able to run for office, especially if they really love their country. And, I do. And so you guys know it's getting closer. We got March, April coming up. We got 2.5 months, guys. 2.5 months till the official date where we put our name. And when I say our name is because we are one family. Why are we one family? Because we are all Americans who love this country, who want to protect this country, and who has the same platform, which is America First. With that being said, the closer it gets, the more pumped up I get. And the more I realize that there is a lot of people that hate me and a lot of people that don't like my ideas and what I stand for. So let me just do a little quick recap. Number one of the things that a lot of Washingtonians are fighting for, and throughout the United States, to be honest, one of the things that we're fighting here in Washington State is keeping men out of women's sports. You guys saw my little short earlier. I'm going to tell you something. I'm one of those guys or one of those people that I don't care what you do with yourself. I don't care what you practice behind doors. I don't care how you want to dress. I don't care what you like. I just want you to respect everybody else around. And we know that this is something that is probably almost impossible to do because everybody wants to express themselves as they want to. And, well, that's the freedom of speech and expression. Okay? I'm okay with that. I understand that. But I am going to be against transgenderism. No transgender support in my agenda. None whatsoever. I think that the one true support that you can give people with gender dysphoria is to acknowledge the truth and the reality of things. Meaning you are not in a science fiction movie where Captain Kirk goes and falls in love with a purple Martian and a green Martian and a yellow Martian and a Martian with two tails that looks like a fox. We don't do that. That's fiction. I don't know why I went here, but this is where we're going. You have these furry people. Like, what the hell is wrong? You have grown into an adult, and it seems like nobody gave you any guidance. See, the one thing is, like, nobody's going to be perfect. I'm not saying that if you're a man, for example, if you're a man, I'm going to give you this example, and don't judge. Don't judge. Samoans, Hawaiians, a lot of Polynesians, a lot of Asian cultures, tropical alien cultures, island-wise, we have what in Samoan, we call it an ie, right? It's a wraparound. It's kind of like a skirt. I know, but it's not a skirt. Got it. It's just to cover your privates pretty much. And so they use this little wraparound, and I love those. I feel free. I ain't going to lie. You have Arabs. You have Muslim cultures where they wear a robe, right? Like a dress, so to speak. But it's a robe. A man can dress that way. That's okay. It looks good, I think. I don't have a problem. I love the way the crown prince, wears his outfits. You know, he just throws down his little blanket or whatever the hell it is, and it looks good. Let's say you can wear pants. You can wear shorts. I love suits. Today is Happy Friday. I get to wear my hoodie, which, by the way, I think my wife probably put this on hot water because it shrunk a little bit. That, or I just got a little bit fatter instead of losing weight. I am hoping for the latter. But anyway, so I don't really care about that. So I really love the in the nature of things. If you go to Samoa, right, and you're wearing your ear, right, your wraparound on your I don't even know how to call it. It's an ear, okay, wraparound, a wraparound. Let's just call it a wraparound, okay. And you are out there in the jungle, in the mountains, at the beach. It doesn't matter where. I love it. I don't know if it's just because I got used to the culture, but I think that it's a good thing. It's whatever people want to wear. But anyways, going back to the main subject is men should not be in women's sports. We don't want men going to locker rooms that belong to females. Now listen, if you are a man and you are gay, you're still a man. You have a sex preference. Hey, that's okay. Listen, I'm not going to tell you that you're going to go to heaven or that you're going to be safe, because only God can tell you that. But the Bible says that is a sin that he abominates. No. In Spanish it's aborrece, but he calls that sexual immorality an abomination, okay? I can't think of the actual word to say. But he just doesn't, he can't even see you if you are into that sin. But that's a religious point of view, okay? But as humans, we are called to love one another. So I don't care what you do with your life, but I just ask, don't try to push that agenda on my children. Respect me. I don't try to convince you to be straight. That's your choice. Salvation, that's your choice. But we're going to go zero support for transgenderism. I just think it's horrible. It's so horrible. For those who don't that are not believers, that have no faith, you don't have any spirituality. Let me tell you that the reason why these demons are pushing transgenderism, the reason why this sexual immorality and perversion is being promoted more and more, is because the demons are so desperate to make us fall and fall into sin. And a lot of people, we're humans. We got feelings. We got emotions. We're compassionate. We wanna be supportive. But you got to know how to support. You don't want to become an obstacle by thinking that you are supporting. Always tell the truth. Never lie. Always tell the truth. Hey, listen, if I got a booger hanging out my nose, you let me know. You see what I'm saying? Even if it's embarrassing for me to say, oh, shoot, man, somebody saw me like this all day. It doesn't matter. Tell me the truth. If the clothes doesn't look good, if that's all I got, even if it bothers me, it is what it is, okay? Unless you're going to buy me some clothes, I don't want to hear it. That's just the way I've been raised. So that's going to be part of the platform now. And there's a lot of disgusting things that I am finding out about this governor and what's happening in government, period. There is so much fraud. It is crazy. Listen, I have this post. Let me see. I'm going to show you guys something. And this is just I put this on my Facebook so that I can show you guys. Okay. Let's see. What the hell is it asking me to log in? That's crazy. I hate how it makes me do that. Oh, by the way, somebody copied my Facebook account. It says Dennis Herrera, and they copied the picture of President Trump, the boss, in black and white. Just know where I stand, what I believe in, and I'm not going to be putting dumb shit like they will probably put on that page. But I will share this. Let me take this off here real quick, okay? And this is, I promise, I'm going somewhere with this. Because I don't want people to to comment and tell me that we just think that we're just against Democrats for no reason. You guys heard that the President Trump and the administration, it's trying to weaponize the government. Well, here's a post that I shared because I agree with it. And it says, if they can investigate Trump's past finances, somebody misspelled that, they can investigate how these politicians became millionaires. I think it's fair. I think it's legit. So you guys may have heard me already saying that we're going to do a lot of auditing. I want investigations to happen all over the place. And I got some bad things to say also about some other stuff that has been bothering me. I didn't witness this when I went down to Honduras, but the reality is that I didn't go everywhere, so I don't know everything about Honduras. But we'll get to that, hopefully, if I remember, okay? So I'm seeing all these governors say what they're saying, and I, to each his own, right? Brandy Cruz, I don't know if you heard of Brandy Cruz. Brandy Cruz, she's a journalist in Seattle, and she, I met her through her movement of keeping men out of women's locker room. And she's wonderful. She has been cured from TDS, has been invited to the White House, and she's been fighting for the truth ever since. And I have mass respect for her. When I met her, I told her that I use her video clips in my live, and she says, Dennis, by all means, use that as much as you want. And I said, thank you so much. And I said, I want you to know one thing. I said, I'm going to run for governor. I'm going to put my name on the ballot in May 2026. And she says, really? She says, oh my gosh, well, go for it. And I said, hey, listen, I'm going to keep you up to date. I'll let you know what's going on. And, just an average Joe, but somebody's got to do it, right? And, so far, we have gotten people that are, like big business owners or sheriffs or people that, and they lose. So how about we just bring an underdog like the crazy migrant that came here legally, respects the immigration laws, became a resident, who decided after 2.5 decades to become an American citizen because he's sick and tired of seeing his Washington State home being destroyed by lunatics that nobody dares to challenge. Oh, let's keep it down a little bit. Let's simmer it down a little bit. I'm gonna save some of these for the campaign. Let's go. And yes, I will repeat myself a lot on every single campaign because everybody needs to hear the truth and what we are doing with it. With that being said, let me go ahead and finish saying good morning to everybody here. Brian Cab, I think I said hello already. Brian in the house. Tyler, good to see you in here. Pamela Hernandez, beautiful Seattle, Washington. You are not wrong about that. It is beautiful. Let's see. Jen says, is the Gulf of Mexico? I don't know. Called me a crazy guy, but, well, while I was in Honduras, I tried this theory, okay? Because when I Google Gulf of Mexico here in the United States of America, well, when it goes to the map, it says Gulf of America. So I tried this when I was in Honduras, and I was like, you know what? I'm in a different country. I'm in a Hispanic country. Here we go. Let's take a look and see what it says. Oh, Gulf of Mexico. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Gulf of America. Get it right. Get it right. and I want to ask a question to all those people. You know what? I love being a Indian descent, and I don't mean from India. I mean as a Mayan, Lenca descent in Honduras, Spaniard descent, a migrant in this country who became an American citizen. I love having all those things because nobody can talk shit about it, and nobody can play the victimhood card with me. So I would tell you something. I looked it up. It says Gulf of America. And for anybody that wants to defend the Gulf of Mexico, I just got one question. One question. Who named it Gulf of Mexico? And why do you agree with that? I agree with the Gulf of America because it is North America. Now, of course, President Trump means it because of the United States of America, but I mean it because it is the North American Gulf. Hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. All right. So there you go. So that a little explanation for you. Papa San is that Beacon Hill. Yeah, that's right. Speaking of beacons, we are a beacon in this world, and we should not put this light under a blanket. Instead, we should let it shine so that the world can be a better place for it. Let's see what else we got. All right, Philip, good afternoon. Good to have you here. I'm just going out through some of these comments that I haven't made. Jose Guzman, it's called the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, maybe you can still change it for the right one. Yeah, okay, I'm glad I explained that better. People are hated when trans women open carry. No, they can open carry. They can do whatever. Anybody. It doesn't matter what your ideology is, what you believe. We are an open carry state. Anybody can do that. Damo already knows the truth. It is the Gulf of America. Michael, good afternoon if you're still here. All right, let's see. Let's go down. Tanya, good afternoon, sis. Good to see you in here. Let's see. Beautiful today here at East Tennessee. It's actually, let me see. Let me look out my window here. I was waiting for some snow. Nothing happened. Some flakes fell over by my wife's company where she works. But nothing here. John Hayden, good afternoon. Jose Guzman, poor guy. This Filipino doesn't know that it's the Gulf of America now. Here we go. Tyler, let live and let live is easier for me. You do you, and I'll keep to myself. All we need is if you are in Washington State, just vote for me, and that's all you have to do. I'll take care of the rest. Larson agrees. Thank you, Larson. Good to have you here. Mark Preston, good afternoon, if you are still here. Perpetual Tranquility says they are under delusion. It is what it is, my friend. We cannot cure the world of corruption. All right. Let's see what we got here. Anybody else that I did? Docito, no. I just put everyone around me knows my stance on it, and I can tell who is and who isn't. I missed a comment. I don't know what that is. Jim Juan. No one is above the law. And every one that is illegal has got to go. They got to go. That's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Yes, I will fight for immigration reform, but the law says if you are illegal in this country, you got to go. You got to plead your case. I don't know. There's got to be something that we can work out. You, the people, and I'm talking about not that we, the people, you, the people that are not Americans, if you are afraid of trying to do an application for paperwork, what I would like to do, what I would like to propose is I want every single illegal immigrant, you can take it or leave it. I don't care. Do what you want with it. Every single illegal in this country. Now, watch this. If you have no criminal record, and you know that you're a good person, there's two things that are going to happen about this, but I believe every single one of them should apply for residency. Every single one of them. We have to have a way to see who has applied for permission to be in this country for residency and be able to check their record. If they are good, we're going to go by first come, first serve, right? Two things are going to happen. One of them, they're going to get approved to go in for an interview and say, hey, criminal background check comes out good. It's just like applying for a job. Criminal check that comes back good. Why do you want to be here? Do you love this country? Do you want to keep raising the flag of the country you come from? No? Okay, here we go. And there are some very simple patriotic questions that you want to ask people because you don't want to have immigrants that hate this country. Like, for example, when you see people come into my chat, right? I am pro-migration, pro-legal migration, right? And every single time that some people come in here and want to fight me about legal immigration and about respecting the law, they just prove to me how bad it is to have illegal immigrants in this country. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like instead of being pro-American, they go pro-illegal immigrant. And there's a push and a pull. There is a fight. It goes back and forth. And they will always lose. And we push back because that's just the way it is. So they got to be pro-legal migration, pro-American, okay? And then we can say, hey, you know what? I feel bad for Juan. Juan, he's a good guy. Give him a chance. But because I get all this horrible, negative fight, I mean, they have been destroying our country. It's not just about they can work or do this and that. No, it's not just about that. It's unfortunately the bad things that migrants and illegal immigrants have been doing to protest. ICE specifically got 2 Americans killed for stupidity, no common sense, no respect, everything about rebelliousness, nothing American about that. It tells me again and again and again that having illegal immigrants in this country is a bad thing. And innocent people pay the price for it. I was talking to a couple of illegal immigrants. They've been in this country for a long time. They're good people. Have they made mistakes in their lives? Sure. But nothing to be not allowed in this country. They are hard workers. They have families. If they got deported, they're illegal. They got to go. Even if their kids are citizens, they got to go. They got to go. Keep families together, we say. But the bottom line is that because of the millions of illegal immigrants that have come here, those who are waiting for those papers, even though they're illegal now, they are waiting for those papers. Well, now they have no chance of getting papers themselves because many millions of illegal immigrants have brought hundreds of thousands of criminals with them. And they think that's not a big deal, but it really is a big deal. They don't understand the damage that they're causing the country because they just think, it's just me and my family, and as long as I work and as long as I pay taxes, it's good. No. I understand why you would say that, but we can't live that way. We can't allow illegal immigration to go unchecked. Because if we do, you're saying that by having 10 criminals out of 100 good working people, you're saying that's okay, but you don't take into accountability that people might get hurt. People might die. People might lose their livelihoods. You see, I'm zero tolerance for crime. Zero tolerance. And so I cannot allow for illegal migrants to stay in this country. And again, 2 things will happen. When you apply for residency or even a temporary permission to work as you keep showing up and doing this thing, there's 2 things that can happen. One of them is you are going to get approved and hey, everything is good. But you also have to expect the other side, that you will be denied. Now, I think it's fair. You will be denied, and you should be given the option to self-deport. You and your family. Give you plenty of time, maybe 2 months. Right now it's given a month. but let's say maybe 2 months. No, I said 30 days is good enough. You give it 30 days, gather your things, and then start doing what you got to do to self-deport. You get a free plane ticket, stay on the table, free plane ticket for you and your family, and you get a couple $1,000s. It's still on the table, okay? Still on the table. So I think that that's a good option. Why? Because if they do get self-deport, okay, that means that they will still have a chance to just get the application out there, and they can update that application and say, hey, listen, well, now I actually have this income. I actually have this property. And, well, I would like to go to the States just to go to work. If it's really that good of a big deal, I think that there's something that should be worked out. And if not, well, if you're illegal, you got to go anyway, okay? So with that being said, if you happen to find a loved one here, that you get married and you're legitimate in love and you want to get married, well, there is a way to get papers that way. But I will tell you something. If you are a criminal, a murderer, a gangbanger, that is automatic disqualification. So I would just say, for anybody that wants to get married to any of these criminal people in here, you are not doing this country a service. You are not doing a service to yourself. And I don't think there's a way for them to become a citizen when they have that rap sheet on them. And if they are trying to run away from their country because somebody's trying to kill them, they can go somewhere else. They don't have to do it here in the United States of America. All right? There we go. That's all I got to say about that. Now, the bad story that I want to share to you with my country, Honduras. I don't believe everything that I hear, but you can't deny. But you can't deny the truth. And as much as, and you members, my brothers in here that know me already, and my sisters that know me here in this channel, you guys saw how happy I was being in Honduras. You guys know how much I love Honduras. And I felt free. I felt, there was no harm, no foul. I walked on the street. I went back to my old barrio. It's supposed to be a violent neighborhood. There's crazy people out there and gangbangers and all this stuff. And I saw some people that were kind of shady, but yeah, I'd say hello to them and they were okay with me. But the reality of it is that, that there is murders happening all the time. And one of the ciphers one of the numbers that I heard was over 400 dead in 1 month in Honduras. Now, in all different parts of Honduras, but you have to understand this. There's almost 10 million people in Honduras, okay? And you're having 400 something murders every month. This is from gang activity. This is from people that take your life because they want your bike. They take your life because they want your necklace, your gold necklace. They take your life because you have a business and you're trying to survive. The reality of things is that there is a lot of bad neighborhoods in Honduras. And the other reality is that there is some gang members that they learned that there was a bad problem with being gangs, but they felt forced into it because of poverty. There is no excuse. You always have a choice. And unfortunately, these people, these gangbangers, they go and recruit 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. They used to go to the elementary schools and they will just watch them and they will just go in there and take these children's innocence away. Because some children that are, they want to feel tough. They want to feel cool and they're lying about it. You know what I mean? And then they just trick these children into going into gangbanging. And I mean, they tried that with me when I was in Honduras as a little kid. They tried that with me. But you know what? Lucky for me, my mother taught me better. I had the love of my mother. She disciplined me and showed me the way to be a good person, a good citizen for the future of our country. Now, we happen to come here to the United States of America, but those teachings are still very close and dear to my heart. And so this is what they do. And you got these numbers that even though they're not in the hundreds of thousands, but they're still in the hundreds, But the fact is that these people are just loading up with guns. Not everybody has guns. And say what you will, but the people that have been killed, they didn't have guns. There's one thing that happened in one of the neighborhoods, and there was a guy that tried to rob a motorcycle from a guy, and the gangbanger came out with his gun, and he said, "Give me your bike." But there was other people in the neighborhood, not gangbangers, just other people watching, also had guns. They dropped that guy right there. And the guy that was being robbed was able to go with his life. They dropped that gangbanger, and his 9mm was right next to him. And you have to understand something. The news reporting in Honduras, they're very, very graphic, okay? For YouTube, they censor it. But if you watch this news in Honduras, you will see the guy laying there with blood all over the place, and this disaster is it's horrific. It is. You can feel death. You can feel the demonic forces behind it, and they blame everything to poverty, but it's really not just poverty. It's more than that. It's more than just poverty. There's a demonic forces behind it. And the people that don't believe, that's okay. If you don't want to believe, don't believe. But if you want an explanation for why this world is going the way it's going, that is one of them, my friends. Whether you want to believe in the devil, it doesn't matter. You don't have to believe in him. He'll take you. But if you want to be saved, you do have to believe in God. You do have to choose God. All you have to do to go to hell is just fail miserably or choose the devil, or it doesn't matter. You're going to hell and he's going to take you. And you have these innocent lives, and then you also have the majority of the deaths in Honduras are gang-related kills. Somebody opened their mouth what they shouldn't have, and what I'm talking about, that is not just snitching. I'm talking about, you start cussing people out, and you don't know they're gangbangers. Well, they will come after you and your family, and I know a lot of people don't believe me when I tell the stories that I have seen family in pieces in the garbage bag from these gangbangers. A lot of people don't want to believe that, but whatever. And the one president, because there was one that, he did his job, but at the end of the day, he ended up being corrupted. And there was one president that was actually putting an end to this. And I want you to know this. There was one president that was actually putting an end to this. And his name is Juan Orlando Hernandez. Now, if you want me to say that in English, it's Juan Orlando Hernandez. Juan Orlando Hernandez, who was the president of Honduras. And you guys know I'm a big advocate for him. Because I feel that, as I go visit Honduras, every time that I went, I saw changes because of the president. I saw less crimes being committed. Gangbangers disappearing from certain neighborhoods. No more were they terrorizing the people. And the people were able to make money, and they were able to go to the mall, and you know what I'm saying? And so what happens? Well, there are some communists, or they like to call themselves socialists, or you don't know who they are. Burning 47, welcome. And they call themselves socialists, and they were connected with Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro. And you guys already know about this, right? And I explain, if you're new to my channel, this is probably the first time you're going to hear this, but you have to understand something. The route to bring drugs to the United States of America, Honduras is in the best location for small planes to fly low and bring drugs all the way to the United States of America. When Juan Orlando stopped that from happening, they started going flying and sending ships, as you guys have seen, through the Caribbean, through the Atlantic. These are the drug boats that President Trump was destroying, and worked. So the murder, the crime rates in Honduras dropped drastically because of Juan Orlando Hernandez. And I don't care what anybody says about him. He was set up. He was a good man, a family man, a God-fearing man, and he was betrayed by the Biden administration. He was tried here in the United States of America. He gave himself up because they were threatening his family. And I looked at I looked at Honduras, and I am driving, and I'm looking at these changes, and I'm like, I remember people used to tell me, hey, don't go there. That's a bad neighborhood. Hey, don't go there because this is bad. And, during the Juan Orlando Hernandez time, I was able to go to those places, and there was no problem. So leadership has a lot to do with it. Of course, prayer helps, but you need the actual people who are in charge of government to take care of these things. So I saw this, and I asked people, and that they like to tell Americans, oh yeah, Juan Orlando, he said that he was gonna give tons of cocaine and shove it up the Americans' noses. That's a lie. He never said that. He never said that. As a matter of fact, Juan Orlando destroyed Venezuela's operations from coming through Honduras. That's why they had to go through the sea, which is more dangerous for them. President Donald Trump supported. Let me get a refill. President Donald Trump supported the candidate that just won the presidency in Honduras. The candidate that was opposing him, look how stupid he is. He's a socialist liberal. He goes in the morning of the voting. And you guys know that there is a lot of this, cheating on elections and, blah, blah, blah. He goes to vote, comes out after he voted, comes out saying, I am now the president of Honduras. Do you know what that does to people? The Honduras people, they're already on edge because they feel lied to. They feel betrayed. When Juan Orlando Hernandez was taken out of office, when he gave himself up and came to be tried here in the United States of America, and he was found guilty, of course he's going to be found guilty. There was no factual proof. Our justice system failed the Honduran people. They failed the Honduran people. Not only the Honduran people, but the American people. You know why? Because Juan Orlando Hernandez was the only one standing between Venezuela and the United States of America. 100%. Bold Lion, back to timeout. 10 minutes. Shut the hell up. Adults are talking here. I don't know if that's a bold lion. That's probably a bold pussycat. So anyways, move forward. The new president, a communist, shaking hands, taking pictures, hugging Nicolas Maduro, the tyrant dictator of Venezuela. And what do we got? Drugs poured in by the tons back into the United States of America. How about that? How about that? Let me tell you, I have friends in Honduras since I was a kid that joined gangs. And within years, they didn't want to be in there anymore. So they would leave just to be found dead. You see, they start with them very, very young. 8, 7, 9, 10 years old. They start with them very young because they're innocent. They are on the stage of learning life, and they're easier to persuade. So if there's no fathers and mothers in their lives, if they don't stay in school, and if the teachers don't pay attention to them, and if the government does not help provide more assistance to the schools which do a tremendous job in Honduras, then these kids, they grow up to be violent. Kind of like Americans grew up in this next generation that we have. They hate the United States of America. They don't know how beautiful this country is, how important it is to keep it safe for the next generation. You know, you hear these songs all these decades, you know, the children are the future, but nobody tells them that the parents are the present leaders of those children. Somehow, in the 90s, they started listening to little 10-year-olds about the environment. 12-year-olds about politics. Are you kidding me? They don't even know how to wipe their own ass yet. Adults need to teach the children. They need to teach the next generation. If your parents failed when they were young, and they tell you not to do this because this is what happened when they did it, if you learn the lesson by their advice to be a better person, you will be a better person today. But you know what I remember hearing a lot when I was in high school? When I grow up, I don't give a about this insulting their parents. When I grow up, my kids will do whatever the hell they want. That's what people were saying in the 90s for me. And guess what? They had children. And the alphabet people is getting bigger and bigger because they're getting stupider and stupider. Nobody decided to teach manners, respect, accountability, and ethics that you must earn a living. Those people that you complain about today that are rich, like the Starbucks founder, the owner, CEO, the creator of Starbucks. One of the best stories I can tell you. He believed that working hard will bring a benefit, and he earned his living. And now you have these libtards. They just put in a libtard mayor to lead Seattle. That's right, I said it, libtard. Socialist Democrats, they call themselves. And what is the first thing that she do? Oh my gosh, people. Oh, man. What is the first thing that she goes and do? She knows that Washington State is up the yin-yang in taxes. The people are drowning with on affordability. There's no housing. There's no jobs. Companies are moving out. And the first thing she says to the people, oh, the great workers of Starbucks, don't work at Starbucks. Don't buy Starbucks. What the hell are you thinking, libtard? The opposite is what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be pushing people to promote small businesses. Promote hard-working ethics. I can't wait. I cannot wait until my name is officially on the ballot. Because, man, I am burning inside. You have no idea. But once it's official, and I will become a candidate on there, I am going to go and visit all small businesses. And I want to find out, how do they like getting a new state income tax added for making over $1 million a year? And I'm going to ask them for support. I'm going to tell them, I'm running for you. I want to get rid of these clowns in office. Now, when people, and you guys are my witness, when people come into my life, I am fighting for Americans. I'm fighting for respecting the law so that we can have order. I fight for religion of freedom of religion. but not religion to overthrow the law of the land. There's a big difference. I am pro-legal migration. It's fantastic. Legal migration is awesome. Is it perfect? No, but it's still fantastic compared to illegal immigration. I defend corporations. I defend small businesses. I encourage people like me to work, have an ethic, believe in something, and go with that. Is it going to help the society? I hope so. Telling the truth in this channel is what I want. Why would I defend criminals? Why would I put criminals before American law-abiding citizens? Tell me, why would I put so many strings for you Americans to have your guns, to have your Second Amendment respected, when I know the criminals are the ones that are not going to respect those rules? That's 100% fact. Criminals will not respect the gun laws. And even those who do respect the gun laws, you're going to have some astray. You're going to have some black sheep here, but the chances are a lot smaller, and we can correct that. So think about that. I am all for this. I'm for farmers. I am for my veterans. I am for my Native Americans here in Washington. I love it. The reservations, I want them to do better. But it starts with leading the people. I want to be able to talk to the leaders so that we can give them something better to go after. Washington State is so underrated for success. Republicans here, I will tell you, Republicans, independents, conservatives, as a matter of fact, people who care about other people, people who care about respecting the laws, people who care about having a healthy and beneficiary happening to the Washingtonians here, those people are the underdog. The ones who want to fight for better health care. Not universal health care, but better health care. More affordable health care. I see the Democrats, they are so into this hate Trump, that they can't help to ask the question and say, well, President Donald Trump, besides doing a great job with the drug prices, how would you make a better health care? Well, I think the money should go to the people. Let them choose. What? You're crazy. They don't care. But I believe that the big step forward is the drugs industry. Getting fair pricing. And then we got to regulate insurance companies. I know it sounds horrible, but you got to regulate insurance companies. Why? Because they are overpricing the service. They are overpricing, taking billions of dollars, and with taking billions of dollars from the people just suffer. It's got to be fixed. Farmers, what's going on? It's not tariffs. Tariffs are not destroying you. Our regulations are destroying you. Our taxes are destroying our local taxes. You can call tariffs a tax. That's fine. Call that a tax. But since when a state of farmers, Washington State is a farming state, since when did we become dependent on China, on India for fertilizers? Since when did we depend for their opinion on health? Since when? We have been a very successful farming state, and every year that comes by, we have less and less farmers. I don't want to blame President Trump. Oh, well, President Trump gave in $12 billion from tariffs that everybody hates on the left, not the right. Oh, it's just $12 billion. That's nothing. Now, he didn't do nothing for the farmers. And yet, when I bring up the issue that before Trump, we were losing hundreds of billions of dollars every year because of tariffs imposed on the United States of America, and we were not getting a benefit from it. During the first Trump administration, those tariffs that he put on China brought in about $70 to $76 billion. That's nothing. But the Biden administration didn't remove it because they were no longer losing money. And instead, we are gaining money. And the second time around, the President Donald Trump, even though every leftist on the other side went against them on tariffs, he was able, as of right now, look it up, as of right now, we got about $270 to $290 billion positive. Now, people are, I don't know the way, some people think, it's like, oh, well, where's the money? I didn't see it. I didn't get a check. Who got the money? Man, we still need a military. We still need to spend a lot of money on defense. There's a lot of missiles. There's a lot of weaponry. There's a lot of ships that we have to send all over the place. It takes millions and billions of dollars to maintain. The point is, somebody did something to bring money coming back into our country. Not only that, but a lot of the governors that work with President Donald Trump have benefited their own people in that state because they decided, I want to do something to help my people. I want to cut some taxes. I want to get some deregulation. I want to work with President Donald Trump to bring some of those factories back into my state. I want my Washingtonians. I want Arizonians. I want Utahns. I want every single state to have factories back. Whatever it is that they can do to provide jobs, get it done. Very simple. Now, forgive me, I say very simple, but only people that know how to use common sense will understand what I'm talking about. I like to see, I like to hear these people who are socialists, who depend on the rich people, the same ones that keep saying tax the rich, is the same people that get massive refunds in taxes every year, meaning they didn't pay jack squat in taxes. How about that? Oh, I'm a taxpayer. You work for me. No, you don't pay taxes. You get it all back plus. You get it all back plus. So what do we have to do? We got to run for office. Voting is not helping us. So we got to stand up. I have to stand up. And if you're sick and tired of your government, your local government here in Washington State, taxing the crap out of us, then stand with me and fight. And we're going to fight at the voting booth. We're going to turn this state a different color but blue. You want me to run as an independent? I can run as an independent. But the values of conservatives, they are still in me. The same thoughts, the same ideas, the same opinions, the same way that I use common sense, the same way that I use critical thinking, that is still the same. Even if I was to run for Democrat, as a Democrat, I will make Democrats look good. So we got to pick a side. But we cannot continue to give the fake Democrats a good name anymore. We have to run against them. And if we need a lot of money to run, well, I got to pick a side. I got to pick a side. We had a very healthy budget here in Washington State. Now, the libtards have a hard time understanding the logic behind it. But let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. If you're not a libtard, you're not going to be offended by anything that I say when I say libtards. So just know that, okay? If you get offended, that means that you are a libtard, all right? So if you're not one, then you don't have to get offended. But here's the thing. Let me give you a story. Let me give you a parable. This is from the Bible. Just put it in my own words. There was a master of a huge vineyard. And he put a sign out. And he said, I will give $250. I need workers, laborers that start work at 7 a.m. I will give you $250 for the day to come and work. So a lot of people showed up. 7 o'clock, boom. Here we go. But then again, at 9 o'clock, somebody else showed up. And he says, hey, you too, go to work. And then at 12 o'clock, hey, you too, go to work. About 4 p.m., we finished the day. And it was time to pay. Now, the people came in from 4 p.m., the ones that came in at the last hour, and the master gave them, the boss, gave him $250 each. Whoa. Whoa, says the guy that came in at 7 a.m. Woo, this is looking good. Oh, man, looking good. And then he goes, and then the people that came at 12, here you go, $250. Wait a minute, what? And then the people that came in at 9 a.m., here you go, $250. And then the people that came in at 7 a.m., expecting a lot more, here you go, $250. And they said, wait a minute. I know how much you gave the guy that came in at the last hour, but I've been here since 7 a.m. Should I not get more money? And he says, wait a minute. I put an ad out there that I need people to come and work in my vineyard for the day, and I gave him $250. You agreed. You thought it was a fair price. It was fair wages. Why are you upset? Well, I don't think it's fair that guy that came in at the end of the day got the same money that I'm getting. And the master said, what is it to you what I do with my money? I can do with my money what I want, and I can pay anybody what I want. I offer you these wages. You agreed. What's the problem? So why do I tell you this story? Susu's confused. Poor guy. Why do I tell you this story? Because before the socialist Democrats started fear-mongering the people, you know what? There was people happy to go to work. Woo! Let's go. $15 an hour. $15 an hour. Fair wages. We had a healthy budget. Companies loved us. They were making money. They were making millions, some billions. But we were happy making our $15 an hour. Woo. Right? And then you allowed the corrupted government to destroy the economy by raising taxes to support NGOs that has nothing to do with our infrastructure, that has anything to do with our livelihoods, protecting you, or anything. It is just for socialist, stupid ideologies. And they raise the taxes. And they raise high taxes on the businesses. And what do businesses do? Hey, I was going to give you a $2 raise, but, well, now I got to pay more regulations. Now I got to pay more taxes. So you get 50 cents. Wait, what? How is it that I'm going to make 50? Why am I getting 50-cent raise? Well, the government is raising taxes. And then you have the fear-mongering socialist Democrats go on social media, go in on the streets, and start telling people, pay my livable wages. And I'm going to back up because when I was in the 90s, early 90s, and I was in high school, my teachers were asking me every time that they try to teach us about life, how to be independent, how to go to work hard and what to do. We had career field day. We have to think, what do I want to become in the future? What can I do to get the money that I want, and the taxes that I'm going to pay is going to help here and it's going to help there. And I remember they took time to teach us about careers, and they say this position here will pay you $70,000 a year. This position pays $100,000 a year. This position pays $300,000 a year, and you can be your own boss, and you can take all this risk, and you can invest, and you can work harder than any other regular employee. You can work 60 to 120 hours every week. It's impossible. But you can acquire success. You can make wealth for you and your family, and that is going to benefit the future of your children. And I remember looking at that. And I remember when people were failing in the class. Hey, do you want to work at McDonald's for the rest of your life flipping burgers? Or do you want to do something for yourself and give yourself a good raise by having a good career? Where did that go? Where did that go? I want to know why that disappeared from our society. Why is that a bad thing? Why has that gone away? Well, the fear-mongering socialist Democrats have been convincing our children that they don't have to go to work. They should go to college and get in debt $40,000 to $100,000 for something that they will never even do in their life. And they're duped into making these loans. And their credit score is jacked. And they're in debt. They cannot claim that in bankruptcy. Think about that. But no, they want to work at Starbucks. These jobs are meant for teenagers, to just a temporary job as they get to the next stage. And if they wasted their life and they didn't want to get the education that they wanted to get, well, don't complain about the wages. And if this company doesn't want to pay you the wages that you want, then look for another company that pays the wages that you want. But the problem is that the requirement you don't meet. You don't qualify. You didn't put in the work, so you don't get the reward. That's common sense. That's critical thinking. If I want to make minimum wage, do nothing. If I want to be successful and I want to make money, I want an education. I want to work hard. I'm not going to force this company to pay me what they can't afford to pay me. I gave you an example with Boeing before. Boeing, they make billions and billions of dollars. Do I like that the CEOs are making $30 million or whatever it is? Oh, I don't. But if they tell me that I get paid $45 an hour, woo, let's go. I'm okay with that. $45 an hour, boom. And I have to work how many hours overtime? 20 hours overtime? 30 hours overtime? Boom, that's time and a half. That's time and a half. What is that? 45, 22.50, 67.50. Is that my math? Is my math okay? Somewhere in there, right? About $68 an hour. Woo! 40 hours of $68 an hour. How is my paycheck looking? Boy, you get excited. And you said, whoo, here we go, baby. We got a lot of money. And then you look at your check. What the hell? All that excitement just went away. Why? Taxes. Taxes, taxes, taxes. Whew. I need you to keep me straight. I need you to keep me straight. Remind me of this. There has to be something done about this. President Trump, whether you like it or not, was right about no tax on overtime. I'm going to say it again. He was right about no tax on overtime. But here's the one thing that President Trump is missing. First of all, a good cup of coffee. But here's the thing that Trump is missing. The tax brackets. The tax brackets for the middle class people. Can't buy a house. Can't buy a house. When you reach a certain bracket, certain money, you get a certain bracket of taxes that you got to pay. For example, if you make about $90,000 in a household, depending on the state, of course. I'm just going to make an example. You're going to pay about 12% of taxes from $90,000, even as a couple. 12% taxes because the house income has hit this bracket. Now, if you make more than $110,000, $120,000, now your bracket jumps to 22%. And then you get $150,000, then you get 24%, and then the more you work, the more taxes they take from you. So if you live in the American dream and you believe that the harder you work, the more money you make, that is fantastic. But the harder you work, the more money you make, the more money the government steals from you. Charlie, man, you're so right. Thousands, $90,000, and you're still poor. Absolutely. Absolutely. It is a damn shame. So I'm not promising that I'm going to run and I'm going to fix everything. This is why I do my show, because I want to be able to get some feedback. Now, for a lot of you guys who become members, you guys got my email. Well, anybody can get my email, but you guys are here with me most of the time. That's why you became members. You guys push me to continue to move forward. You push me. You guys inspire me to talk about these things. And so the more that I talk with you and share with you, the more I learn. And that's the way it should be. But I want to have more people like that in my channel. I want to have more people here from Washington State to think that way. I know this sounds very impossible, but I want to come in with a mindset. I know what you're going to say. Tax cuts. Tax cuts for corporations. Tax cuts for small businesses. We're going to continue to give incentives and tax breaks to those who hire people who are qualified to be permanent employees. We're going to reward the companies that treat our employees, our Washingtonians, in fairness. We will enforce the law. If you run a Social Security to the government website and that Social Security says that that person is not who they say they are, if you hire them, $10,000 fine per person. Hire Americans. Hired resident aliens. Hire migrants with permits to work. And here's the catch. Some corporations won't like it, but it has to be fair. I believe if you work, you should eat. If you don't work, you don't eat. And so if we get, for example, if we get migrants from Mexico, I'm Honduran, so I'm going to push a lot for Honduran. That's just me. I will push a lot for Honduran people to get a working visa to come to this country, and I'm going to hold them accountable for it. But I'm going to get these people to get a visa to work here. And the companies, if they need more personnel, if Americans and resident aliens don't want these jobs, then we're going to go ahead and grab a certain amount of employment and we're going to send it to them and be like, hey, we need some people. Who wants it? Well, here we go. You got to qualify. Same thing. Criminal background check. Hey, no gang tattoos. No criminal background. No, you got to have a health exam. You got to have all these other things to come with it, and then you can bring them here. But just because they are working with a visa does not mean they don't get benefits. I know you're going to think I'm a hypocrite, but I'm not. See, there's difference. If we have a law that says that they are allowed to come here to work, that same law should also provide safety features for these employees. It is part of being an employer. You got to treat everybody with fairness, whether they're citizens or residents or just migrants with permits to work. They should all get benefits as full-time employees. One of the things that I don't like about temporary agencies, and I understand because it's actual temporary, means that they don't have a whole year to go with this, right? It's that they don't provide health benefits. There's no 401k on temporary agencies. And so just think about this. We had an issue here with the farmers in Eastern Washington, right? We got Mexicans that are resident alien car holders, okay? But they're Mexican. They're not American yet. They're Mexican. They work in this farm. The owners of the farm, they hire people from Mexico. Let's just keep it in Mexico. They hire people from Mexico with an H-1B visa or whatever to work in there, right? Well, they don't give them benefits. They don't pay them overtime. They don't give them anything. So what do? They grab the legal Mexicans that are working in the farm and fire them. They lay them off or they fire them, and they abuse the laborers that come from another country, pay them lower wages and no benefits whatsoever. You see what I'm saying? So that will force companies to hire locally. Same pay. If Jose comes from Mexico, and Jose and I apply for the same job, it doesn't matter if I'm American and Jose is just a visa worker. If the position pays $20 an hour, they gotta pay $20 an hour. I know there is negotiating on the hiring, but the minimum wage will be set in forth, depending on this type of company that they are. For example, if you go online and you look up, okay, what's the average pay for a technician level 1 in electronics? Well, here we go. It says that they make about $55,000 a year, average. So there is a $45,000 to $65,000 pay that they can inquire in, right? That's $5,000 is like $4 less an hour. Think about that. Sometimes if you get $2 an hour raise every year, it's about $2,800, I think, right? Did I do it right? Let me see. $2,400. So $1 per month, 12. Yeah, right. $2,400. Yeah, $2,400 extra every year in pay. I think it makes sense. Again, there's a lot of different things, and I can go on every day telling you, because one example leads to another. But the point is that in order for you to stop the water from going from here, you got to plug the other end, and eventually you're going to have to recap everything so that it works for the benefit of everybody. I feel that companies are taking advantage of H-1B visa holders. They are not giving fair wages to everybody. That's why we have the state minimum. And I'm going to say this. If we have a state minimum pay for jobs that are laboring jobs, I think every laboring job should have a different pay. If you're gonna clean toilets, there is a pay for that. If you're gonna be working on the farm, you're gonna be a pay for that. If you're in electronics, if you're in Boeing, manufacturing jobs at depending on the skill level that is needed, this is the minimum that you can pay, and everybody has to agree with it. Whether they like it or not is irrelevant. The whole point is to make everybody make a fair wage. Again, the only thing that you cannot offer migrant workers, it's a 401k plan. But if they're citizens, they should qualify for a 401k. That's just where I'm at with that. You can use that for residence if you want, but I think American citizenship is the most privileged and it should be the most honorable position that you can hold in this country, to become an American citizen. That's what I believe, and that's what I'm going to go ahead and give my rant for this morning. I'm going to share, let me see, I think I have a couple. Yeah, I'm going to share a couple of things with you, okay? Now, this is from somebody, what's this? This somebody got a clip from the Rogan show. Listen to this.
We're not making men anymore.
Not a lot of them.
No.
When they are, they stand out.
Yeah, that's why it's like a lot of times in these movies, if you have an alpha male, a lot of times that American alpha male is being played by an Australian or somebody from
Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, it's so it's like it's very rarely an American.
No.
It's like such a trip, man.
Well, masculinity is demonized here for some strange reason over the last couple of decades.
Bro, I saw the beginning of a lot of it because, like I said, I was a school teacher. Mm-hmm. And I was right on the forefront seeing, like, everybody gets a trophy. These kids, it's about their self-esteem and you got to protect them. I'm like, come on. We're not making men anymore.
Not a lot of them.
It is true. Not only are we not making men anymore here in America. I know he's an actor. By the way, I love this guy. I think he's very underrated. He should be in a lot more movies with higher rankings. But, he's right. Michael White, I think it's his name. Yeah, Michael White is 100% correct. We're using actors from Australia, from other countries, because we just don't have enough manly men here in America. That's pathetic. And the socialist Democrats, they want to raise men to be women. And they want women to be men, which will make them weaker humans. That probably don't make sense to a lot of you guys, but it does to me. Yeah, everybody gets a participating trophy. And then check this out. I know the leftist socialist Democrats don't want to hear this, but this video is quite old, and yet it still holds truth. And somebody shared it, so I'm sharing it from them.
You can't make this up.
Biden, most stupid president we've ever had. Biden has done more damage to the world than any other president in history. So what was Biden's first act? Do you know?
No, can you please explain that?
He took off the Keystone Pipeline between Canada and America. Under Trump, he's a good friend of mine. We were selling oil. We own oil wells in Texas, Louisiana, and North Dakota.
Okay.
I was selling oil in Trump for $30 US a barrel. Biden came to office, oil went from $30 a barrel to $130.
$30 oil barrel. $30 for a barrel of oil. Under Trump, under Biden, with his decisions, $130. Defend that. Defend that. Thank you for subscribing, Renders. Defend that. Some of the socialist Democrats and libtards that come to my channel, they keep complaining about tariffs. Tariffs is a tax. Tariffs is a tax. Tariff. Oil is local. No tariff. And yet, $100. $100 up. Up. Here. Nationally, local. $100 under stupidity. It is exactly how socialist Democrats run their country, run their states, run their cities. And when they don't have a real answer And when they don't want to be held accountable for their lack of knowledge or understanding or even caring, the one thing that they always say is President Trump's tariffs. It's President Trump's fault. A tariff is an introductory fee. If you want to call it a tax, that's fine. And it's okay to call it a tax, because if you have a business that uses importing, it is a cost of doing business. A tariff is a cost of doing business. I'm not an expert on taxes, but I think it's deductible. Yeah, cost of doing business is deductible. And yet, people like to say, oh my God, well, the people get the tax because now we have to sell it more expensive. Well, what happens when they raise the tariffs and prices go more expensive? What the hell do you do as a business owner? If you're in the business, now let me remind you something before you get all high and mighty with your stupidity that tariffs are taxes and they're destroying America. Before you get all high and mighty, let me remind you that while those businesses who were making a lot of money by bringing cheap-ass Chinese products into this country, we were losing hundreds of billions of dollars as a nation. So tell me, how the hell am I supposed to care about your business? Just because you're well off, it doesn't mean that the whole country is. You don't give a shit if the country goes down the hell. How selfish. You selfish mofos. Dumb-ass people. Unbelievable. Bitching about tariffs. How about you do something here locally? You have allowed Pelosi and all these goons over here to get rid of all our manufacturers across the sea and allow somebody else to do them. Do me a favor, admins. Get rid of Mount Cone and any negative comment in here. I'm not here for them to come in and insult me at all. Now, I'll do the first one. I'll get this first moron off and give him a 30-minute timeout. Get him the hell out of my channel. 30-minute timeout. Don't come over here and disrespect me. Come in here and give me a solution. Stop blaming. Stop blaming and give me a solution. When I tell you that there is shit that this government is doing, I'm going to bring a solution to fix that. How do I bring more jobs? How do we make more jobs here in Washington State? By giving manufacturers back the power to be here in this state instead of taking their power to want to be here. If you don't understand what that is, people, we want to give them incentives to want to be here, to provide those jobs. And if people don't want to work those jobs, it's not the manufacturers' jobs at all. Team Hype, that's why you allow millions of illegal immigrants in this country, and you wonder why there's a lot of jobless Americans. Edwin, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I hope you're not talking about me. Team Hype, how long have you been in my channel, man? As much as you hate me, how many times have you been in my channel? And you haven't learned shit. Bye, David. All right, let's do this. Let's get rid of all these clowns. 30 minutes, everybody. Let's get them off this channel. Let's see. Tears are falling. Thank you, right on. Always supportive. Appreciate it. Safe Space, Dennis. I don't give a shit about safe spaces. Bye. Thank you for stopping by. Bye, Zavad. I don't know what the hell that means or what you are. Get the hell out of my chat. I want 10 good patriots on my chat. Let me see who else is going to leave. Listen to your own rhetoric, says Tim. Bye, Tim. I want solutions. Oh, he needs a safe space. Bye-bye. Thanks for stopping by. Bye, Felicia. Automation and AI, that's what's killing the job. No, it's not. And by the way, that's going to make millions of jobs is what they're saying. So I tend to believe the experts and the business owners that are actually working on that. What a bunch of losers. Not in this chat. All my patriots are not losers. Get the hell out of here. Let's see. I don't hate you. You hate yourself. Bye, Team Hype. That was the last one. Get the hell out. Let me see how many we got. 150. I think about another, at least 150 more got to go. Thank you, Linag. Appreciate that. All the countries did it to us for years and years, and that's what pisses me off. Is that everybody is okay with the United States of America being ripped off. I'm gonna tell you something. Any American that gets mad at tariffs, that gets mad that the United States of America is now bringing hundreds of billions of dollars, you are not American, or you're just a horrible business owner. Thank you, Bill. I know you are, my friend. Let me say, Visa, and what do you say? The issue is business owners want more money. We all want more money. We all want more money. But I'll tell you what. Here, let me give you this before people keep. You're gonna get rid of a lot more people. I don't give a shit. We're about to listen to President Trump anyway, so you might as well get rid of this garbage. But listen, if we fix the economy in our country, if we fix the economy in our states, in our cities, if we fix the problem, people will have more money in their pockets to where they will be able to afford to support their own city and state. Tell me, why can't I just go buy more groceries? Because I got to spend more time at the gas pump. I show you the from Biden's atrocity. It's not even Biden. It's the socialist Democrats that think that way. They all think that way. I don't understand. They think money just falls off the trees. They think you can just go rake the money off your yard. That's not how it works. You need people to work. And as I said before, you can work flipping burgers and fries, or you can go be an engineer. I would agree with that, Jay. Go Democrats. I would agree with that if they were still real Democrats, but they're not. The Democratic Party has been taken over by a bunch of socialist, communist, Marxists, and I can no longer support them. So when I say Democrat Americans that are out there, if you're a loyalist, you gotta go. Leave that dumb-ass party. They are no longer American. Do you understand? You are still American. You got to make a change. You got to show your people. You got to show your family how you make decisions. Do you make decisions because this is the right thing to do, or do you make decisions because other idiots are making those same decisions? You got to stand up for your family. You got to stand up for the future of your children. If you're a business owner, you don't know if your children are going to go bankrupt on that business. You don't know if that business is going to be kicked out of here because of regulation. You don't know if the supply of the product that you're using is going to go out. You got to make sure that you vote in the right people in power so that your children's future is secured. You might think, oh, I got $10 million right now. Oh, I'm making over $1 million right now in business. But you don't know what's going to happen in the future. You living stressed every day. You're not fully happy. You're overworking yourself. And then you wonder, why should I support Democrats anymore? Well, it's easy choice. And you can make that choice anytime by showing up and showing out. I love that. I love that. All right. Enough fighting. It is time. President Donald Trump delivers remarks. Oh, man. I'll be honest. I haven't seen this, but I haven't liked some of the highlights that I've seen. So let's go ahead and listen to this together. And by American patriots, if anybody comes in here just insulting, putting MAGA down, putting the president down, get rid of him. Give him a 30-minute timeout. 30-minute timeout for everybody. Everybody that don't behave, 30-minute timeout. Everybody else, let's listen to the POTUS and make our own decisions by listening to it.
Wow, that's a lot of people. That's a new record. We set a record every time. Well, thank you very much for being here. The Supreme Court's ruling on tariffs is deeply disappointing. And I'm ashamed of certain members of the court, absolutely ashamed, for not having the courage to do what's right for our country. I'd like to thank and congratulate Justices Thomas, Alito, and Kavanaugh for their strength and wisdom and love of our country, which is right now very proud of those justices. When you read the dissenting opinions, there's no way that anyone can argue against them. There's no way. Foreign countries that have been ripping us off for years are ecstatic. They're so happy. And they're dancing in the streets, but they won't be dancing for long, that I can assure you. The Democrats on the court are thrilled, but they will automatically vote no. They're an automatic no, just like in Congress. They're an automatic no. They're against anything that makes America strong, healthy, and great again. They also are a, frankly, disgrace to our nation, those justices. They're an automatic no, no matter how good a case you have. It's a no. But you can't knock their loyalty. It's one thing you can do with some of our people. Others think they're being politically correct, which has happened before far too often with certain members of this court, and it's happened so often with this court. What a shame. Having to do with voting in particular, when in fact they're just being fools and lapdogs for the rhinos and the radical left Democrats, and not that this should have anything at all to do with it. They're very unpatriotic and disloyal to our Constitution. It's my opinion that the court has been swayed by foreign interests and a political movement that is far smaller than people would ever think. It's a small movement. I won by millions of votes. We won in a landslide. With all the cheating that went on, there was a lot of it, but we still won in a landslide. Too big to rig. But these people are obnoxious, ignorant, and loud. They're very loud. And I think certain justices are afraid of that. They don't want to do the right thing. They're afraid of it. This was an important case to me, more as a symbol of economic national security, and also, I would say, just for our country itself, so important, because we're doing so well as a country. We've never done so well. The good news is that there are methods, practices, statutes, and authorities, as recognized by the entire court in this terrible decision, and also as recognized by Congress, which they refer to, that are even stronger than the IEEPA tariffs available to me as President of the United States. And in actuality, I was very modest in my ask of other countries and businesses because I wanted to do, and it's very important, I wanted to be very well behaved because I wanted to do anything, I didn't want to do anything that would affect the decision of the court, because I understand the court. I understand how they are very easily swayed. I want to be a good boy. I have very effectively utilized tariffs over the past year to make America great again. Our stock market has just recently broken 50,000 on the Dow, and simultaneously, and even more amazingly, broken 7,000 on the S&P, two numbers that everybody thought upon our landslide election victory could not be attained. Think of that. Nobody thought it was possible to do it within 4 years, and we did it in 1 year. They said, you'll never be able, you'll go back and you read the geniuses, read their statements, all of the Nobel Prize winners in economics. They said, no, you couldn't do it in 4 years. Well, we didn't do it in 4 years. We did it in 1 year. We broke every record in the book, and we're continuing to do so. Tariffs have likewise been used to end 5 of the 8 wars that I settled. I settled 8 wars, whether you like it or not, including India, Pakistan, big ones, nuclear, could have been nuclear. Prime Minister of Pakistan said yesterday at the great meeting that we had, the Peace Board, he said yesterday that President Trump could have saved 35 million lives by getting us to stop fighting. They were getting ready to do some bad things. But they've given us great national security, these tariffs have. And together with our strong borders, reduced fentanyl coming into our country by 30%. When I use them as a penalty against countries illegally sending this poison into our country to poison our youth. All of those tariffs remain. They all remain. I don't know if you know that or not. They all remain. We're still getting them, and we will after the decision. I guess there's nobody left to appeal to. But again, those three people, such respect. I've had a lot of respect for them anyway, but such great respect. But other alternatives will now be used to replace the ones that the court incorrectly rejected. We have alternatives, great alternatives. Could be more money. We'll take in more money, and we'll be a lot stronger for it. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. We'll continue to do so. To show you how ridiculous the opinion is, however, the court said that I'm not allowed to charge even $1. I can't charge $1. Can't charge $1. I would have used 1 penny, but we don't make the pennies anymore. We save money. Can't charge $1 to any country under IEPA. Not $1. I assume to protect other countries. This must have been done to protect those other countries, certainly not the United States of America, which they should be interested in protecting. That's what they're supposed to be protecting. But I am allowed to cut off any and all trade or business with that same country. In other words, I can destroy the trade. I can destroy the country. I'm even allowed to impose a foreign country destroying embargo. I can embargo. I can do anything I want, but I can't charge $1. Because that's not what it says. And that's not the way it even reads. I can do anything I want to do to them, but I can't charge any money. So I'm allowed to destroy the country, but I can't charge them a little fee. I could give them a little two-cent fee, but I cannot charge under any circumstances. I cannot charge them anything. Think of that. How ridiculous is that? I'm allowed to embargo them. I'm allowed to tell them you can't do business in the United States anymore. We want you out of here. But if I want to charge them $10, I can't do that. It's incorrect. Their decision's incorrect. But it doesn't matter because we have very powerful alternatives that have been approved by this decision. You know, they've been approved by the decision for those that thought they had us. And they're saying that I have the absolute right to license, but not the right to charge a license fee. So think of that. I have the right to license, which is a very powerful word. In many ways, license is more powerful than tariffs. In fact, I was thinking about using it. But they came up with the idea that I can license, just like the people that were opposing me told them to do, but not the right to charge a license fee. Think of that. Who ever heard of such a thing? What license has ever been issued without the right to charge a fee? You get a license, you charge a fee. It's automatic, but not with this court. But now the court has given me the unquestioned right to ban all sorts of things from coming into our country, to destroy foreign countries, but a much more powerful right than many people ever thought we even had, but not the right to charge a fee. How crazy is that? Our country is the hottest country anywhere in the world right now. And it was a dead country 1.5 years ago under an incompetent president. But now I'm going to go in a different direction, probably the direction that I should have gone the first time, but I read the language. I'm very good at reading language, and it read our way 100%, but now I'll go the way I could have gone originally, which is even stronger than our original choice. As Justice Kavanaugh, whose stock has gone so up, you have to see, I'm so proud of him, wrote in his dissent, although I firmly disagree with the court's holding today, the decision might not substantially constrain a president's ability to order tariffs going forward. So, think of that. The decision might not substantially constrain. And it doesn't, he's right. In fact, I can charge much more than I was charging. So I'm going to just start. Although I firmly disagree with the court's holding today, the decision might not substantially constrain a president's ability to order tariffs going forward. That's because numerous other federal statutes, which is so true, authorize the president to impose tariffs and might justify most, if not all, of the tariffs issued in this case. Even more tariffs, actually. Those statutes include, think of that, those statutes include, for example, the Trade Expansion Act of 1962, Section 232. All of these things I know so well. The Trade Act of 1974, Sections 122, 201, 301. And the Tariff Act of 1930, Section 338, all clear. But it's a little bit longer process. I thought I'd make things simple, but they didn't let us do that. I would like to thank Justice Kavanaugh for frankly, his genius and his great ability. Very proud of that appointment. In actuality, while I am sure that they did not mean to do so, the Supreme Court's decision today made a president's ability to both regulate trade and impose tariffs more powerful and more crystal clear rather than less. I don't think they meant that. I'm sure they didn't. It's terrible. And to think that the Democrats who oppose this only because they want to go the opposite way, they'd like to pack the court. They want to put on 21 people. They want to pack the court, pack the Supreme Court. Maybe they should do it. Maybe they would be better off if they did it. They want to pack the court. They want to do anything to hurt our country. There will no longer be any doubt, and the income coming in and the protection of our companies and country will actually increase because of this decision. I don't think the court meant that, but it's the way it is. Based on long-standing law and hundreds of victories, and even, as I was pointed out before, even thousands of victories over the years, to the contrary, the Supreme Court did not overrule tariffs. They merely overruled a particular use of IEEPA tariffs. And essentially, it's used to get a fee. I can do anything I want with IEEPA, anything. I just can't charge anybody for it. I can license, I just can't charge them. It's ridiculous, but it's okay because we have other ways, numerous other ways. The ability to block, embargo, restrict, license, or impose any other condition on a foreign country's ability to conduct trade with the United States under IEEPA has been fully confirmed by this decision. So now there's no doubt, because, you know, there were a lot of questions about tariffs because no president was smart enough to use them to protect our country from those countries and businesses that were ripping us off. You took a look at the deficits that we had with some of these countries. It was disgraceful what they got away with for many, many decades. But now we know, because this decision affirms all those things that some people weren't sure about. In order to protect, and it says so, in order to protect our country, a president can actually charge more tariffs than I was charging in the past period of a year under the various tariff authorities. So we can use other of the statutes, other of the tariff authorities, which have also been confirmed and are fully allowed. Therefore, effective immediately, all national security tariffs under Section 232 and existing Section 301 tariffs, they're existing, they're there, remain in place, fully in place, and in full force and effect. Today, I will sign an order to impose a 10% global tariff under Section 122 over and above our normal tariffs already being charged. And we're also initiating several Section 301 and other investigations to protect our country from unfair trading practices of other countries and companies. Thank you for your attention to this matter, and I say quite simply, which I've said for a long time, make America great again. And interestingly, we've already made it great, so I don't have to use that, but I don't think we'll ever give up on MAGA. MAGA is always going to be with us. If you have a few questions, you can let us know. But just to end, so we're going forward. We will be able to take in more money, and there'll no longer be doubt, because there was always doubt. I know the people that brought the lawsuit, and they're sleazebags, major sleazebags, but I know them, and they're foreign country centric. They were sending things into our country, and the people representing them knew full well, but they were sending things into our country, and they were beneficial to other countries, but very, very bad for us. And I stopped it, and we'll just keep it going. So we have a totally firm decision now, and I don't think the court meant it, because the court doesn't show great spirit toward our country, in my opinion. A lot of bad decisions, but the Secretary of Labor, assistant ways around it. This is something we could have done, as Justice Kavanaugh said, we could have done this originally, but we're doing it now, and the numbers could be far greater than the hundreds of billions we've already taken in. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'm very curious. You've spoken about
in the red.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Justice Thomas and Alito, as you know, are the most conservative constitutional justices. Do you think that you'll get to appoint 2 more justices later this term with similar ideologies? And what type of vetting process will they go through to ensure they uphold?
I don't know, but they're great
Constitution?
justices. That's all I can say. And I hope they're going to be around a long time. I hope they're going to stay healthy. They're great people. They're great. And Justice Alito, too, to add to the group. These are great men.
Right.
They're with a great love of our country and a great understanding of the law.
Mr. President, are you going to ask Congress to take additional action on tariffs now?
No, I don't need to. It's already been approved. I mean, I would ask Congress and probably get it. When people look at the real numbers, and you look at hundreds of billions of dollars that have come into our country. Yesterday, I was at a steel plant, as you know, and I went to great place, great plant, great, wonderful people. And they were telling me, I said to them, you were there, a lot of the press in this room. Of course, I don't think this plane's big enough to take the press in this room, but a lot of the press right here. We were in Georgia. And I said to the owner, I made a speech at a factory. They make steel products. And I said, how are you? Nice to meet you. How's business? President, I'd love to kiss you. This is a very powerful man. I don't want to be kissed by that man, but a very powerful, strong man. He's been in the steel business for many years. His father started it. And he said, sir, I want to kiss you. I said, why? He said, because we were down to working 1 hour a week, and then you came in and imposed tariffs, and all of that foreign junk that they were dropping into our country stopped. And we're now going to double shifts, 7 days a week, and we may be very soon going to 24 hours around the clock, almost 7 days a week. He said, sir, I want to kiss you so badly. And I said, no, thank you. But you know what? He just to finalize it, he said, oh, this is a great place in Georgia. He said, all up and down the highway, same exact answer, sir. We're all going out of business. We're going to go bankrupt. We're all going out of business. And now every one of us are thriving, and we're hiring people like we haven't. He said, like I've never, and he's been in business for, I think, 45 years, like we've never hired before. That's because of tariffs. And we're going to keep it going the same way. And you're going to start to see the results in a year from now when all those factories start that are under construction right now. You see all the construction numbers are so good. Those construction workers are building factories that are going to be open, including not only AI, which is big, but car plants coming in from Canada, who ripped us off for 30% of our market. Mexico ripped us off for a big portion. Over the years, they've taken our market. They've taken our cars. They manufacture them in Japan, Germany, and all over the place because nobody's standing in this position. The position I have as President of the United States had the insight, the courage, well, I don't know what it is, to charge tariffs. You can make your product outside. You can put our people out of business. You can put everybody on the unemployment rolls. But if you're going to make a car in some other country, you're going to pay a 15, 20, 30% tariff. And those things would have never happened. We wouldn't have lost our business. Same thing with, as an example, Taiwan. Taiwan came in. They stole our chip business. They make chips. For 30 years longer, they made chip. And They put our companies, Intel would be now the largest company. I saved Intel. I literally saved it at the beginning of this administration. And now all those companies in Taiwan are building factories in Arizona, Texas, and various other places because they don't want to pay tariffs. They're all pouring into the United States. But just like that great patriot said yesterday, sir, what you've done, nobody thought was possible. And Steve Moore, a highly respected economist, came into my office yesterday. He said, you've done something nobody's ever done. 22 Nobel Prize winners in economics said we would right now be in a recession. And you said, no, we're going to have a booming country. We're going to have a booming country. You were right. All 22 were wrong, and you were right. This country is booming, and it's booming because of the election on November 5th, and it's booming for another reason. It's booming because of tariffs. Yeah, please, go ahead.
What will you say ahead of this decision that if the Supreme Court
please,
rules...
go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. What will you say to foreign nations who seek to renegotiate their deals? And what did you mean a moment ago when you said that the Supreme Court has been swayed by foreign interests?
Well, I think that foreign interests are represented by people that I believe have undue influence. They have a lot of influence over the Supreme Court, whether it's through fear or respect or friendships, I don't know. But I know some of the people that were involved on the other side, and I don't like them. I think they're real slime balls. And got to do what's right for the country. You got to do what's right for the Constitution. That's why I respect so much Justice Thomas and Alito, Kavanaugh, because they not only dissented, their dissent is so strong. When you read their dissent, you know, a lot of times you'll read a dissent and it's like, well, you don't know, it could go either way. There's no other way. The good news is, it's like Justice Kavanaugh said, very strongly said, you have other ways you can go. You don't have to go that way. You can go other way. There are numerous other ways you can go. And frankly, this should have been done by presidents many years ago. They allowed our country to be eaten alive. We lost 50% of our car business. We used to make cars. We made all the cars. And then Mexico came, Canada came, Japan and Germany. But they're all coming back now. They're all coming back at record levels. No, you please. I'm not talking to you. I don't talk to CNN. It's fake news. Go ahead.
Mr. President, yesterday you made the case that the economy is the hottest it's been in a long time. Right. January jobs report beat expectations, CPI report beat expectations, real wages are up. What would you tell Americans who are worried that this decision will kind of throw the economy that you have projected going in the right direction at a very rapid pace off track?
Well, thank you for the question. And I will say this, we really are at a very important point. I've been waiting for this decision so long. They could have made this decision a long time ago. Not complex. They're wrong on it. It's a ridiculous decision. But they should have released this a long time ago. We waited months. And that gave uncertainty. Now we have certainty. And I think you're going to see the country get much stronger because of it. Look, we were ripped off by almost every country in the world. If you look at the surpluses, almost every country in the world that did business with us, our people were stupid. And I blame presidents for it because they're ultimately the leader. We were being ripped off by almost every single country in the world had some massive surpluses. China had hundreds of billions of dollars in surpluses with the United States. They rebuilt China. They rebuilt the army. We built China's army by allowing that to happen. I have a great relationship with President Xi, but he respects our country now. Now, what we've done, I charged China a 20% tariff as a penalty for sending fentanyl in. And that was 20 times more than they could make by selling fentanyl. And I said, you know, at some point you're going to say, like, and they have reduced it. You know, fentanyl is down by more than 30% coming into our country. Part of that is a strong border. We have a strong border now. But thank you. Thank you for your question.
Mr. President, sir, you warned once in a social media post that if the Supreme Court did this, shot down your tariffs, the U.S. would be, quote, financially defenseless. Are we financially defenseless right now?
No, because we're doing something in a different way. We're doing something in a very powerful way, and we're using things that some people thought we should have used in the first place. But it's more complicated. It's a little more complicated. The process takes a little more time, but the end result is going to get us more money, and I think it's going to be great. Yeah, please. Peter, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. So, since Liberation Day, there's about $175 billion in tariff revenue that is now in limbo. Do you have to refund $175 billion?
Think of it, Peter. Very fair question. They take months and months to write an opinion, and they don't even discuss that point. We've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars, not millions, hundreds of billions of dollars. And so I said, well, what happens to all the money that we took in? It wasn't discussed. Wouldn't you think they would have put one sentence in there saying that keep the money or don't keep the money, right? I guess it has to get litigated for the next 2 years. So they write this terrible, defective decision, totally defective. It's almost like not written by smart people. And what they do, they don't even talk about that. Your question is very basic. That was the first question I asked also to make you feel good. They say, what about all the money that we've taken in? Sir, they don't discuss that. How crazy is that?
What you're saying is, are you saying that you don't plan to honor refunds for companies that file for them?
I just told you the answer, right? I told you the answer. It's not discussed. We'll end up being in court for the next 5 years. Go ahead, Green.
Thank you, Mr. President. When you are talking about the relationship with countries that you have sought trade deals with, do you anticipate that they will seek to renegotiate those? What do you say to them, and do you view this as a potential undermining power for your
we're
negotiations?
going straight ahead with 10% straight across the board, which was the absolute right to do. And that's taking place. It's a lot of money coming into our country. And then during that period of about 5 months, we are doing the various investigations necessary to put fair tariffs or tariffs, period, on other countries. So we're doing that period, but we're immediately instituting the 10% provision, which we're allowed to do. And in the end, I think we'll take in more money than we've taken in before.
President, you've used the tariff revenue to pay for a host of federal policies. You've claimed that they will pay for them. What happens
Well,
to
like
those
the
things?
farmers. We took care of farmers. You know, the farmers were mistreated by foreign countries very badly, very, very badly. And last week I gave them $12 billion out of tariff money. We intend to, out of tariff money, because just so you understand, we have tariffs. We just have them in a different way. And now they've been confirmed by the Supreme Court of the United States. So there's no longer that question out there about tariffs. And we'll be taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. And countries that have treated us badly will have to pay a price for treating us badly. And countries that have been good to us will be treated very well. We just left the top person in a place called Vietnam, just left my office. Great gentleman, strong and smart. He said, you know, I think this means you're allowed to charge us more tariffs than before. And Canada said to Jameson, I might want to say it, Jameson, but Canada said, I hope you win this decision, because if you don't win, you'll actually be allowed to charge us, with a little additional work, higher tariffs. Jameson, you want to comment on that?
Yes, sir. So, to the President's point, we have a lot of tools out there. We have Section 122, which will be implemented today. It will be signed today and implemented very shortly. We have Section 301 investigations, which are incredibly legally durable, where we can investigate and address unfair trading practices that have led to our huge trade deficit. And so you can look forward in the coming days and weeks to seeing all of that come out, and we're going to keep continuity in the program. We're going to keep addressing this so that the deficit can keep going down. That's the trend it has, and we can make America great again.
No.
Several of Republicans in Congress have supported this decision by the Supreme Court, and Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader, has called you a wannabe king. Why wouldn't
him a low IQ?
But why wouldn't
he doesn't even know? And I watched him the other day interview. The guy doesn't even know what a tariff is.
But there's been bipartisan criticism
No, not bipartisan.
of the tariffs.
Excuse me.
There's several
A few
Republicans
people.
have said that.
Yeah,
But
a
why
few people.
wouldn't you just work with Congress to come up with a plan?
I don't have to.
To push tariffs
I have
through?
the right to do tariffs, and I've always had the right to do tariffs. And it's all been approved by Congress, so there's no reason to do it. All we're doing is we're going through a little bit more complicated process, not complicated very much, but a little more complicated than what we had. We'll be able to take in tariffs, more tariffs. and the Congress people
Just
and the
voted
Congress.
down the Canadian tariffs last week.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
been votes
you
in
know
the
why?
Senate against it.
Yeah, because we lost 2 Republicans or 3 Republicans because they're not good Republicans. What you don't say, you don't say that we got 215 votes.
You need 218 for something to pass.
Yeah, sure we do. We might have lost 3 votes, and we got. And what was the score on the Republican side? 215 to 3, right? But you don't say that. We have great unity. There's great unity in the Republican Party, and I hope everyone's going to vote Republican, because otherwise you won't have a country left, because these people have been destroying. They are destroying our country. Please.
Mr. President, the 122 tariffs, that 10%, is that going to be for 150 days, or do you want to charge that indefinitely?
We have a right to do pretty much what we want to do, but we're going to charge it starting effectively. I think it's 3 days from now. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, you speak to a lot of factory workers, a lot of manufacturing workers. What does the Supreme Court ruling say? What's that message to those factory workers?
Well, I think the factory workers are happy because we're now telling them that they're going to look. The man I met with yesterday, who owned a factory, was out of business. He was out of business, and now he's employing 5 times. In fact, I walked in. He's got a brand new crane. I said, "How old is that crane?" We got it in December. He's allowed to write it off in 1 minute. The Great Big Beautiful Act gave no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. He said this great big beautiful bill, frankly, has been the best thing that's ever happened for the workers much more so than for rich people. The only thing it does for rich people, it allows them to hire a lot more people. But when I saw him, and then he said, it's all up and down the line. This is a place in Georgia, all up and down, other factories doing different, not only steel products, different. He said, every one of us was out of business. We could barely make it. Some of them were down to less than an hour a week. Think of it, 1 hour a week to make just a few little trinkets or whatever they make. Now they're going round the clock. I had it a month ago. I went to Michigan, went to Ford, and I met with Bill Ford, the head of Ford, and we were in one of the biggest plants, an original plant from the early 1900s, where, by the way, I might add this, it's not really relevant, but it's all relevant. Murders are down the lowest since 1900, around the time that he had this plant. That's 125 years. We have the lowest murder rate. Okay. And our crime is way down in the country. The factories that we're talking about, the people that we're talking about, they are so thrilled with Trump. So whether we charge IEEPA tariffs or whether we charge tariffs under a different section, that's what we're going to be doing. There's no way we can this is what happened to our country. This is why we owe $38 trillion, which we'll get rid of in pretty good course. We have a very incompetent Fed chairman who likes high interest rates. For political reasons, he likes them. But we're going to have somebody very good. Interest rates should come down very substantially. I think we should pay the lowest interest rates on the planet. There should be no country, and we don't do that. We're number 38. This is just bad policy for a long period of time. But what's happened is we've made America strong again. We've made America great again. We should pay. As an example, the country of Switzerland, we were getting almost no tariffs from them. We had a $40 billion deficit. And the prime minister called me up. She said, but we are a small country, because I said we're going to raise it to 39% from nothing. That would have rendered them not very successful, as opposed to right now they're considered elite. But if we put a tariff, they would. And I realized then, she said, but sir, we are a small country. I said, you're a small country with a big deficit. For us, you're making a lot of money off the United States. If we do that, a lot of these elite countries, they're elite because we let them make so much money. And I want them to do well. But I don't want them to do well on the backs of the American taxpayer. So I appreciate your question. I think it's a reasonable answer.
President Trump, you said that you were disappointed with that, but were you surprised with this decision? What you felt when you...
I was surprised because I thought that what we did was, number one, according to, I mean, I read the paragraphs, I read very well, great comprehension. I read everything there is to read, and I said, we can't lose this case. But we can when judges are political, when they want to be politically correct, when they're catering to a group of people in D.C. Maybe I don't know what it is, because when you read it, there's no other interpretation. There is no other interpretation. But it's okay, because what has come out, and I'll say it for the third time and maybe the last time in a while, is that we've taken the uncertainty of tariffs out, because we had uncertainty. We got sued by sleazebags, I know them well, that are very outside country, China-centric, but outside country-centric. And they're going to end up not doing as well as they did before. America was becoming really, really, we're strong again. Hey, we have the strongest military. I rebuilt the military in the first term. We have the most powerful military. We make the best equipment. And even them, you know, we could do much better. We have people that get paid a lot of money to manufacture Patriot missiles and javelins and all the different things. But when you want them, they're too slow. And we put them on notice, and they're going to make, our country is building a lot of things right now, and our country is doing really well. And we're going to keep it that way. The bottom line is that the word certainty is now in the equation. Every single thing I said today is guaranteed certainty. It's been tested, as Jameson said 1,000 times. Literally, I said hundreds of times. He said, sir, actually thousands of times, and won in all of the courts. And we're just going back to that. And the problem is that we had other presidents that weren't into trade. Maybe they weren't business oriented. Maybe they weren't smart. We had some dummies too, you know. I respectfully say we had some real dummies. So we are going to keep it going just as before, probably more so. But you're no longer going to be asked. Every time I got up, you'd ask, well, what happens if you can't charge tariffs? Now we can. And by the way, in their decision, they specifically said we can do these. We have alternatives. Yeah.
David, on the trade deals that were negotiated using IEEPA tariffs,
Yeah.
do those stand now, or are they have to be
Well,
redone?
some of them stand. Many of them stand. Some of them won't, and they'll be replaced with the other tariffs.
Mr. President, the Supreme Court justices who ruled against this the policy, striking it down, are they still invited to your State of the Union
Yeah.
next week? And will you speak with them?
They are invited, barely. Barely. 3 are happily invited. No, they're barely invited. Honestly, I couldn't care less if they come. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. On the trade deal, which is the framework, which is to be signed with India sometime soon, will that stand now?
Yeah,
and on the decision,
changes.
Nothing changes.
No, nothing changes. They'll be paying tariffs, and we will not be paying tariffs. Our deal with India is they pay tariffs. This is a reversal from what it used to be, as you know. India, and I think Prime Minister Modi is a great gentleman, a great man, actually, but he was much smarter than the people that he was against in terms of the United States. He was ripping us off in India. So we made a deal with India, and it's a fair deal now, and we are not paying tariffs to them, and they are paying tariffs. We did a little flip.
Are up as of now for this.
No, the India deal is on here.
So much, Mr. President.
All the deals are on. We're just going to do it a different way.
Mr. President. Thank you so much, Mr. President. I think there's another war that you stopped and you should take the credit, which is in Syria. Secretary Rubio, after his meeting in Munich with the Syrian Foreign Minister and the Kurdish General Muslim Abdi, he said that President Trump was directly involved in efforts to stop the fighting between the Kurds and the Syrians. How will your administration make sure that this peace is sustained? And do you support the idea
Well, it's a very different topic, and so I don't want to spend a lot of time. But all I can say is that the president of Syria, who I essentially put there, is doing a phenomenal job. He's a rough guy. He's not a choir boy. A choir boy couldn't do it. But Syria is coming together, really coming together well. And thus far, he's been very good to the Kurds. Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. President, what's your message to the Iranian people after 2 rounds of talks with them? Do you have any message to the Iranian people?
The Iranian people in Iran or people here?
People in Iran.
They better negotiate a fair deal. They better negotiate. You know, the people of Iran are a lot different than the leaders of Iran. And it's very, very Very sad situation. But 32,000 people were killed over a relatively short period of time. They were going to hang 800, 2 weeks ago, hang, some by crane. They lift them up with a tall crane, and they play them around the square. They were going to hang 837 people. And I gave them the word, if you hang one person, even one person, that you're going to be hit right then and there. I wasn't waiting 2 weeks and negotiating. And they gave up the hanging. They didn't hang 837. Supposedly, they didn't hang anybody. But no, I feel very badly for the people of Iran. They've lived in hell. Please.
Thank you, Mr. President. You mentioned multiple times foreign influence over the Supreme Court. Do you have evidence of that? And if not, will you investigate that?
You're going to find out.
What alternatives are you going to put into place in your relationship with Europe, and also those tariffs that have been called illegal? How they're going to go impact the relationship with Russia, that you sanction
Well,
some
I want
countries?
Europe to strengthen up. Europe has gone woke. Europe is not recognizable when you go into so many places. Not all countries. You look at Hungary. You look at Poland, Czech, Slovakia. There are some countries that have gone very much the opposite. Some really, and some others. But Europe has to be strong, and they become soft and not recognizable. You go into some of the countries, I don't want to be specific, but I think everyone knows what I'm talking about, and they're not recognizable. They become, the environmentalists have taken over. They've got windmills destroying their fields and their beautiful meadows and their oceans, and they're paying a fortune. Now, Europe has to get smart. Europe's getting killed on two things, energy and immigration. And if they don't solve both of them fast, Europe is not the same place. Yeah, please.
Justices Gorsuch and Barrett, are you surprised in particular by their decision today?
I
And
am.
do you regret nominating them?
I don't want to say whether or not I regret. I think their decision was terrible. Yeah. I think it's an embarrassment to their families. You want to know the truth? The two of them. Yeah.
Mr. President, specifically on that
Say it again,
$2,000
please.
tariff check.
Mr. President.
I didn't call you.
You didn't call me?
Yeah, Mr. President, to be clear, do you believe at the end of implementing these new tariff tools, the tariff rate and tariffs will ultimately be higher than they currently are?
Potentially higher. How much higher? It depends, whatever we want them to be. But we want them to be fair for other countries. And, you know, we have some countries that have treated us really badly for years, and it's going to be high for them. And we have other countries that have been very good, and it's going to be very reasonable for them. Yeah.
So specifically on the tariffs question, I mean on the $2,000.
I didn't call you.
Mr. President, thank you, Mr. President. Do you have any plans to travel to India for the Quad Summit, and how do you think your relationship with India is right now?
I think my relationship with India is fantastic, and we're doing trade with India. India pulled out of Russia. You know, India was getting its oil from Russia, right? And they pull way back at my request because we want to settle that horrible war where 25,000 people are dying every month. And my relationship with Prime Minister Modi is, I would say, great. I also stopped a war between India and Pakistan, as you know. There were 10 planes we shot down. That war was going, and probably going nuclear. And just yesterday, the Prime Minister of Pakistan said President Trump saved 35 million lives by getting them to stop. That's and I did it largely with tariffs. I said, look, you're going to fight, that's fine, but you're not going to do business with the United States, and you're going to pay a 200% tariff, each country. And they called up and they said, we have made peace. Okay? I just want to thank you all. Look, great certainty has been brought back to the economy of the United States, and actually the economy of the world, because we generate so much in the world. We're the biggest in the world, and we're now the strongest by far. We were a country that was dead 1.5 years ago. Now we have the hottest country in the world. We're going to keep it that way. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very much, everybody. For all the libtards that don't understand, whenever we have our POTUS is talking, we don't talk about any other subjects. We just listen. And whether you agree with it or not is irrelevant. So, With that being said, I don't blame people for thinking that I just agree with everything Trump says because I like Trump. Everything he says and everything he's doing is what I would do. We think alike. It is what it is. It's just how it is. Well, you have common sense. I can tell you this. When we run for governor here in Washington State, every single person that votes for me, I can guarantee you that they think the way that I think. Because we are sick and tired of seeing the same Democrat losers, because they're not the real Democrats that we had a couple decades back. The fake Democrat Party is still the fear-mongering party, still the racist party, is still the degrading party, is still the pedophile party. They will stay that way as long as they call themselves a socialist Democrats. Because when they call themselves socialist Democrats, that tells me that they are not real Democrats. There's a lot of bad things going on in the world. And as much as they like to blame us and call us pedophiles, they say that we're child abusers and we don't care about innocent children. Release the Epstein files, blah, blah, blah. They say all of this crap to us. And yet, they are responsible for over 300,000 illegal immigrants, minor children, immigrants who have been trafficked. Well, I guess I couldn't call it immigrants. That innocent children that have been trafficked into this country with no accountability. And they dare call us pedophile supporters. They got 3 million times President Donald Trump mentioned in the Epstein files. And yet, they are the ones supporting children being mutilated. They're the child abusers. They're the ones that support the LGBTQ and all this crazy madness. That have innocent children in Super Bowl shows where adults are acting like animals, sexually deprived, perverted, and they have an innocent child amongst them, as if the ratings for certain shows don't mean anything to them. When you have the LGBTQ doing parades in downtown Seattle, hanging dongs, titties out in the open, and innocent children are watching, what the hell is going on? They are abusing our children. They are stealing the innocence of our children. They are bringing demonic practices into our country. Drinking blood, cannibalism. The crazier they get, the more these leftist lunatics support this behavior. How about you start defending real children, not your science fiction shows that you participate in? We want all children to be taken care of and protected. You got all these fantasy land stories from the Epstein files. And yet you ignore the truth that actual children trafficking happened during the Biden administration. And yet you decide to support the same freaking, I have a name for them. I don't want to say it. Don't be racist. I don't use color. Children, period. I don't use color unless I'm describing a person in specific. We're not racist. We can no longer stay on the sidelines. We got to get in and get dirty working. Moderators, you can still block all this ignorance that come into our chat. I don't care about their viewership. I care about having viewership from people that think like me. People that respect the law, people that have God morals, Christian morals, people that want to protect the law and want the benefits for Americans first. Those are the people that I want in my chat. Everybody else can get the hell out of my chat. You are the enemy. When you come in with stupid ass comments from the leftist Democrats, I don't care to hear you. You have no influence on me or the way that I think. And if you disagree with me, you are free to move along. Go on, go to the next one. Go to your leftist channel and enjoy the bullshit that they feed you. If you stay on my channel, and I say this many times, I don't think people don't understand this. I'd rather have 10 people here that I can have a conversation with and have fun with than to have 100 morons just coming in here to spew hate and division. You can keep your own little crazy ass family over there. You can keep that hate and division over there. What I want here is I want people that have good morals. Whether you're a Christian or not, it is irrelevant. That's fine. You don't have to believe what I believe. But I do want people that think that we should have mutual respect. How do you do that? How do you have mutual respect? You think calling you a name is disrespectful? I'm not calling you out unless you call me out personally. Then I can use your name. When I speak in general. If you are not that person, then you don't have to worry about it. It's very simple. See, I was taught not to get offended with things like that, but I also was taught that I don't have to take it. And if I can just switch you off, then I'll switch you off. Very simple. I am not going to run for governor in Washington State to listen to the negative people. I want you to understand this. I am going to run for governor of Washington State with my platform, with my beliefs, with my honesty, and what I see that needs to be changed in our state, in our cities. Because Washington State is so beautiful and is so much more pleasant when it's being ran and directed the way that it's supposed to be. Zero tolerance for crimes. There is none of this bull crap that if you commit a crime, you're going to go free in the weekend. That's not going to happen. I hope that we get a good attorney general, somebody who actually wants to do something for Washingtonians. None of these illegal immigrants in the city council. Everybody's going to be audited. And I'm going to say this every single time. Accountability is the number one priority. See, Governor Bob Ferguson here in Washington State, he denies real journalists like Brandy Cruz, denies them access to ask questions because she asks the real questions, the questions that actually are meant to bring answers on how to help Washingtonians. Brandy Cruz is a journalist who now supports President Trump because she sees the truth. And the truth is that we've been voting for the wrong people in Washington State, and it's time to change. And that's why my name is going on the ballot on May of this year. And I can't wait, because once I get something, I do not stop until I get it done. I can tell you that right now. Bernie, how are you? My future governor of California, God willing. Thank you, Bernie. It's good to see you, brother. BJ, thank you, Brian. Thank you for the love. I appreciate that. Not too long ago, I think I got a couple of Washingtonians coming into my channel, and I want to hit. Let's see if we can hit 17,000 today. I know I slacked a lot last month because I was out of the country. I was in Honduras with my brother, and I took 3 weeks off But we're back here, and we're going to go ahead and pick it up again. I'm not worried about going to 100,000 subscribers right away. That's going to be taking some time. It will take some time. But I can tell you this. I am sick and tired. And I'm going to share something very personal. And I'm a little ashamed about this. I'm very ashamed about this. And if you are a libtard and you want to have something against me that can really damage my ego, well, here's your chance. Pay attention. But first, let me go ahead and finish this cup of coffee. I've been playing goalkeeper since I was 5 years old. Number one goalkeeper 3 years in a row during my high school years. I played semi-pro soccer because I didn't think that I can go and apply or try out for the Sounders here in Seattle, Washington. I took a team that was 0-5. I took them to the finals. Shutouts. No problem. Here is the shame. Whenever a good player, just a tremendous athlete, will come in and take some shots, my heart will race so fast. I felt invincible. There was an adrenaline because they were so good. They pushed me to the limits, and I played better. But here's my shame. The weaker the players were, the more I slacked. And that's my shameful moment in life. The most shameful moment. I got scored between my legs. And it happened once, but still was my weakest time in my life. And that is a shame. So libtards, enjoy that. There is a weakness to Dennis. But I tell you what, I work the hardest in the soccer team. I was the fastest. I was the quickest. I jumped the highest. It wasn't much, but 37-inch vertical, 4.3 40-yard dash. Whether people want to believe that or not is irrelevant. I know who I am. I don't have to have approval from people. However, I do need every single Democrat to vote for me on the next election here in Washington State. Otherwise, we're going to continue to get tax hikes. We're going to continue to get rid of the police who is supposed to protect us. We need to fund the police. They need better training. We need to hire more people. We need to also have more training on our citizens to learn how to behave, how to respect the law. And the one way that we're going to do that is by having zero tolerance against crime. Zero tolerance on crime. Let me tell you what that's going to do. It's going to make the law-abiding citizens very happy. And it's going to make criminals think about what their crime is going to be twice. And they might just want to go to work and feel like they are part of the community, feel like they are part of the good society. Maybe they will be proud of themselves that they have earned their living. I can't wait. It's going to be fantastic. Yes, they're going to call me a dictator. That's all right. They call Nayib Bukele a dictator in El Salvador. And you know what the Salvadorian people say? Over 91% of them. You know what they say? We love our dictator. You know why? Because Salvador is one of the safest countries in the world now. Now, they still have some socialist Democrats down in El Salvador and a lot of libtards that believe criminals should be above law-abiding citizens. Well, I don't believe that. I believe Justice Nayib Bukele did. So we're going to run hard for Washington State. But this is nothing. Once we start campaigning, we will let loose. We will let loose. We're going to listen to the President Donald Trump participating on the Black History Month, which you all know I disagree. They shouldn't have a Black History Month. They should be celebrated like every other American, because every American in this country is an American of this country. No matter what color, pigmentation of the skin is, they are all the same. See, this is why I was so competitive here in the United States of America. Oh, I love me some ice. 100%. 100%. See, I grew up with blacks and Asians and Honduras, but we're all brothers. And that's the same mentality that I have here in the States. So I never saw a black guy being better athlete than me. If I saw him jump higher than me, I would just work out more. And my vertical was higher than most of the black guys in my school. You know why? Because I work harder. Did they have to work as hard as me to be very athletic? Probably not. They were very talented. At least the ones that I know. Not everybody has a 37-inch vertical. I can tell you that. And I know some that have 48, 50-inch vertical. That is crazy. Crazy. But everything happens because you work hard. You're dedicated. You want to reach a goal. See, socialist Democrats, they don't have goals. They want everything free. They don't want to try. See, they have taught themselves, if you never try, you never fail. And they like to give themselves trophies. Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody gets a trophy, even if you're in last place. No. Competition is what drives us. We need to make sure that we compete. And that's what I like about President Trump. The more people talk bad about him, the harder that he works. And guess what? I am of the same fabric. So eat your hearts out. All right, let's take a listen to this, because I do think that even though I don't agree with Black History Month, I do think that this live was actually very good. And I haven't watched it completely, so I am going to watch it with you.
This is a nice full room. You know, we have a ballroom being built right now. So in about a year and a half, we'll be able to have about, I'd say, 10 times the number. We can invite some friends that couldn't make it today because, frankly, this was a sold-out crowd. Has been ever since I've been president. Every year it's been sold out. So a lot of great friends. Here's your knockout panel, okay, for those that are interested. See that curtain? You open that curtain, and it's a beautiful funnel right into the most beautiful ballroom. It's being built right now. So it's pretty, and they wanted it for 150 years. We're getting it done a lot. We're getting a lot of other things done, too. Well, I want to thank you all and welcome you to the White House on this very special occasion. It is indeed. I've been at every one of them, and we celebrate.
Man, you guys just missed this awesome interruption that I just did. Everybody on the left always complains there's just one black guy in that meeting. Just one guy. Well, now we have a full room of black people and a white lady right here, seems like, in the middle with a phone. So, with that being said, I just wanted to point this out. The President Donald Trump is not just today. He's been doing this for a very long time. And nobody on the left gives him credit for being an American who believe blacks are also Americans. Isn't it crazy how the leftist socialist Democrats like to tell you that black people are useless? They tell you that they're second-class citizens. They are racist towards them. They think they cannot even get an ID to vote. They think that blacks are so horrible that everybody that's white is a bad person. Yeah, I'm just saying that's the way that they make it look. Listen, when Obama came into office, he divided this country so much. I thought it would be the opposite. And for Pete's sakes, his wife, whether it's a guy or a woman, I don't know. I still don't know for sure. Afraid of white people. Who does that? White people put them in office. Think about that. And then this whole book, Becoming, I don't know. That sounds very fishy, which it makes me really, to be honest, it just puts more negative thoughts that she is not really a woman. Becoming, I think she's talking about trying to become a man. But that's just me. Hey, scratch that from the record, okay? Scratch that for the record. All right, let's go ahead and take a listen to Uninterrupted POTUS talking with our other Americans on this meeting.
Celebrate the 100th anniversary of Black History Month. That's a big deal. 100. Wow, that's sort of special. The 100th. That's about as like 150 is good, but 200 is better, right? 100 is better. I want to begin by expressing our sadness at the passing of a person who I knew very well. Jesse was a piece of work, I want to tell you. He was a piece of work, but he was a good man. He was a real hero, and I just want to pay my highest respects to Reverend Jesse Jackson. He's a good man. He was actually, as you got to know him, he got better and better all the time. A lot of people, you get to know him, they get worse and worse. Jesse got better and better. But I knew him well long before becoming president, and he really was special with lots of personality, grit, and street smarts. You would say Jesse had serious street smarts, right? A very important ingredient to life, I will tell you. He was gregarious and someone who truly loved people and a force of nature. He was somebody that we're going to greatly miss, and on behalf of everyone here today, I know you join me in sending our condolences to the entire family. Got a great family. We're also honored to be joined this afternoon by many exceptional African-American leaders and patriots, including Secretary Scott Turner, recommended. Where is Scott? Where is Scott? Will you come up here, Scott? He was recommended by somebody who's very special to me, Ben Carson. Ben Carson. Where's Ben? Where's Ben? Come on up here, Ben. Come here. I got to get here. And his wonderful wife, Candy. Candy, I'm going to steal Ben for a second because, you know, Ben recommended Scott. And when Ben recommends somebody, I just do it. Did I make a good decision? Be careful. Don't fall, Ben. If you fall, that's the end. You can never recover from a fall. You know, you can make the greatest speech ever, but if you fall, my predecessor taught me that. So is Scott doing a good job, Ben? Come on, say that. I like that.
So, one of the reasons I was so high on Scott Turner is he was really the driving force behind the opportunity zones, which doesn't get nearly the attention that it should, but it was because President Trump realized that the best way to get things done is through public-private partnerships and have everybody with skin in the game. And it is working, as are all the other things that he's been recommending. And at some point, the mainstream media will recognize that you don't politicize everything. You open your eyes and your ears, and you look and you see what works, and you deal with that. But the best thing about Scott, he's got a lot of energy. You know, I'm an old man now. I'll be 75 on my next birthday. And I'm not like President Trump. He just goes forever. But no one else is like that. But Scott Turner, we call him the Energizer Bunny, and he is doing a fantastic job. And I want to congratulate all the people at HUD because most of them have come back and continue with what we were doing during the first Trump term, and it's fantastic.
Thank you very much, Scott.
Well, just very briefly, thank you, Mr. President. We are so grateful for your leadership and for your heart for America. And Dr. Carson, who is a tremendous just leader, servant leader, and been a great mentor to me. And you know, I never thought that I would see the day where I'm standing between the president and Dr. Ben Carson. That's pretty cool. Yeah. And so I just want to say to everyone that's here, you know, as we celebrate this special day in not only Black history, but American history, this year that we've been here, you know, under President Trump, the Lord has been so gracious to us, and he's been faithful, and the president has been a tremendous leader in his work ethic, his heart for people. And when he says America first, he really does mean America first. Yeah. And so, and to be able to stand on the shoulders of Dr. Ben Carson and for the president to trust Dr. Carson at his word is truly humbling for me. And so to stand now as the servant leader and the Secretary of HUD, I'm grateful to the Lord, I'm grateful to the president and Dr. Carson, and I promise you we will continue to do good work and to make not just housing affordable and everybody achieve the American dream, but really to bring transformation. And so that those that are in our country who depend on subsidies and this, that, and the other will get off of that and live a life of self-sustainability. So God bless y'all.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you. And Ben mentioned opportunity zones. We did that, and I want to thank Tim Scott because he really, it was his baby. That was his baby, and he did a great job with it. We appreciate it. And again, Candy, thank you very much for being here. Special woman. Ben's getting the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's the biggest. That's the biggest. It's the highest award you can have outside of the Congressional Medal of Honor. But it's better because, you know, a lot of people get the Congressional Medal of Honor. They're not around. You get them, they're not around. Whereas we don't have to go that far, generally speaking. But it's the highest award, civilian. And then you have the matching is the Congressional Medal of Honor, both tremendous. So Ben, I'll be seeing you back here pretty soon, I think, and you're going to get the award. You'll probably fill up this room. I said, we'll do it in the Oval Office. He said, sir, it's not big enough. I said, what? So we're going to do it right here, okay? And we love it. I'd like to also thank Senior Counsel to the Assistant Attorney General. He's a fantastic man. He's been my friend for a long time, Leo Terrell. There's no better. We have time, right? Do we have time? Yes? Anybody have to go? Like, come on up here, Leo. Get up here. This guy, he says it like it is. I like Leo. Come here, Leo. Look at you, spry. 2.0. Leo 2.0.
Let me just thank you very much, Mr. President. First of all, we are living under the administration of the greatest president in our lifetime. And we have the hottest country in our lifetime. And I want to make sure the mainstream media knows this because you represent the people who basically counter what the mainstream media has done. President Trump was the president who fully funded historically black colleges and universities. President Trump took the lead and performed criminal justice reform. President Trump made sure that we had opportunity zones. Let me close by saying this. This country is at a crossroads, and we have the right president at the right time. And if you want school choice, like I know you do, President Trump wants it. If you want a law and order society and secure border, President Trump wants that. And more importantly, I say this because this is the greatest country on the planet. American citizens should decide American elections. Vote for the SAVE Act.
Thank you. Leo 2.0. We love Leo. Thank you, Leo. That was very good. Yeah, 4 more years. Anyway, so he's a special guy. I watched him on Sean Hannity a long time ago. He used to be a Democrat, you know. Leo was a Democrat. That's a long time ago, right? Can you imagine you were a Democrat? I can't imagine it. You'd see him with Leo 2.0 up in the hat. We love him. He's a great man, actually. General Counsel for the Department of War, Earl Matthews. That's a big deal. Thank you, Earl. Thank you very much. I see Johnny over there with a great book. How is the book doing? Good? What a great person you are. Great book. White House Pardon Czar. This is a big job. This is a big job. Alice Johnson. Alice? Where's Alice? What a sweetheart. I met Alice and she was incarcerated for what some people would say today is not even a fine, right, Alice? It's not even a fine. And I said, how long has she been in jail? 22 years. I said, 22 years? And right, Alice? And come on up here, Alice. Come on up. I said, 22 years, and she was on a phone call. This was over a phone call. I know about fake phone calls too, Alice, you know, remember? They tried to get me in a fake phone call. But Alice was in jail for like 22 years. I said, how many years does she have left? 28. I said, 28 years left. And I said it, and I mean, she admitted she made a little mistake, but it was not the kind of a mistake that you serve 50 years in jail for. Like maybe a couple of months, maybe less than that. And I said, this is the most unfair. And then when I met her, I fell in love. I found my wife was very upset with it. Our great First Lady did not like that, Scott. She didn't like it, but Alice is great, and say a couple of words. It was so ridiculous. 22 years, she had 28 left. And I said, let's get her the hell out. And we got her out. We did a commute, and then when I got to know her, she was so high quality, I said, full pardon. So she's cleaner than anybody in this room, even than my friend right here. She's cleaner. Because of that, she's cleaner than anybody in this room.
Thank you, Mr. President. The feeling was mutual. I fell in love with this man, with his heart for this country, with his heart to really bring America back to the form of greatness that it deserved. And that's exactly what he has done. My story is truly a Joseph story. This president right here, President Donald Trump, brought me from the prison pit to the White House. Only in America could there be a story like my story. And President Trump is the only president who would have had the courage to bring someone like me, someone who received a second chance, but who knows more than someone who has sit among the captives, than someone who has been in captivity themselves. I did not get comfortable in my own freedom, but I went back, as Harriet Tubman said she did. She went back to draw many others into freedom. And President Trump has listened to those recommendations. There's so much more to come, because when you see me, you see a miracle. You see hope. You see second chances. And you see someone who is willing to roll up their sleeves and do the work, do the hard work to help individuals gain their freedom. President Trump did something historic in his first term. He signed the First Step Act into law. And for that, over 40,000, and that number is low, over 40,000 individuals have come home to their families early. And you know, many, many, many of those were Black Americans who had no hope. This president right here, as you look out upon this sea of Black Americans, this president hears you. This president cares for you. Don't let anyone tell you that this president right here, Donald Trump, is not for Black America, because he is. I'm standing here today as a testament to how he feels about Black Americans. There has never been a position like this. I don't know if there ever will be before. But I worked with him in his first term, and I'm proud to now officially have the title to make it happen. Let's get real with the realness. Let's get behind President Trump, who truly has turned our nation around and made us the envy of every country in the world. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, God, for recognizing and raising up this man to be the leader of the free world. I love you.
She's a great woman. You know, when I was looking for a pardon person, like a pardon czar, they gave me somebody from Harvard, somebody from Yale, somebody from Princeton, somebody from Penn, somebody from Stanford. And I said, do you know anything about it? Well, we can learn. You know, they can learn. And when I met Alice, I said, she's better than these people. And she's done a fantastic job. You know, I said to Alice, I said, so I'm looking for people like you to let out. How many people are there like you? She said, many. I said, many in jail. Think of it, 22 years she was in jail, and she had 28 years to go on a phone call. You admit you did a little something wrong, right? But it was like, okay, it wasn't 50 years. Even if you said 6 months, today it would be probably nothing. But even if you said some little time, but I said, I'm looking for other people like you. How many are there? Many. Then I was worried, because I said, well, maybe she's going to say everybody should be let out. We're not a believer in that. I said, so Alice, are there people that shouldn't be? You met a lot of people, right? Are there people that shouldn't be let out? Absolutely. Then I felt better, because there are some bad ones in there too, right? But you are fantastic, and you've been great and so respected all over the country, all over the world, in a sense. You've become a very big story. Thank you very much, Alice. I appreciate it. And we have Lynn Patton. Lynn, thank you. You've been such a help. And Kelly Mitchell, thank you, Kelly. Thank you. Where's Kelly? Thank you, Kelly. And we have, Dr. Alveda King. Thank you, darling. Thank you. You've been with me from day one, right? From day one, she's been there. She's been fighting for me, and I fight for her. I don't have to do too much fighting for her. She takes care of herself. Thank you. Thank you. We can say Merry Christmas is right. Thank you. Thank you for all that support for years, right? Even before Alice, a long time, years before Alice, right? Thank you, darling. Corinne Rankin, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Corinne. And Deontay Johnson, thank you. And a man who's been with me for a long time, and he's never asked me for a thing. Bruce, thank you very much. Bruce Lavelle, thank you very much. I wasn't sure if they had your name down here, Bruce. I was going to mention you anyway, okay? But they had your name. They did a job, finally. They always leave a lot of names out, and that bothers me. Like I see Scott Bessent, his name was left out. First time ever. Look at Scott. I'm looking for his name. I'm looking for his name. I said, I better. He's the greatest Treasury Secretary we've ever had. I think how's the economy doing, Scott? Good? The best. It's really, people are going to see, and watch the State of the Union. We're going to be talking about the economy. We inherited a mess, and now we have prices way down. We have energy way down. Gasoline is now breaking $2 a gallon in many places, and it's been actually amazing, but Scott's fantastic. I don't want to forget to mention him. I'd be in big trouble. All of a sudden, the economy would turn bad on us. I'd say, what happened? It was Scott. Thank you, Scott. And Secretary Lori Chavez de Reamer. Lori, thank you very much. For your Secretary of Labor, Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Diller. How are you doing? How are you doing with Harvard? How are you doing with Harvard? You know, Harvard's extremely discriminatory, unfortunately, and it's working good. Harmeet is on their trail, right? Good, good. You keep suing them. The hell with them. I like the historically black colleges and universities, which I saved. Leo 2.0 said it, but which I saved. We saved them. They had no funding, and every year they'd come back, and I got to know some of the heads, and every year they'd come back, and after my third year, first term, I said, you guys keep coming back. Why do you keep coming back? He said, we have to come back every year. For years and years, they had to come back. And one of them said, one of the heads, a great guy, said, they make us feel like beggars. We have to come back. I said, I'm going to get you long-term financing, and I got it for them. And I said, the only bad thing, I'll never see you guys again. I haven't seen too many of them. But we took care of the historically black colleges and universities, right? And it was a great thing to do. And so many others are in the audience that are just friends of mine. I look at them, so many. But if I introduce all of you, we're going to be here a long time, and that's unacceptable. Not only are we celebrating the century of Black History Month, also, as you know, this year we'll also be celebrating the 250th anniversary of our nation's founding. And the good thing, when they cheated on the election, they made me wait 4 years, and because I waited 4 years, I get the 250th year. I get the Olympics, which I was the one that got it, and I get the World Cup. So I got the World Cup, and I said, you know, it's too bad before all this nonsense took place. I said, it's too bad. I got the World Cup to come here. Johnny, another Johnny, we got the World Cup. It was fantastic, the head of it, one of the great people. And I said, the only bad part is I won't be in office because my 4 years will be up. This would have been the more traditional route. And then they cheated on the election, and I said, now we won by so much. We won by millions of votes, but they cheated. It was during a COVID period, and they cheated. And we did it again, and we made it too big to rig, too big to rig. And by doing that, I ended up getting the Olympics. Because we were responsible for both of them. And we're going to have a great year, but we're going to have a great 3 years. We're going to have hopefully we're going to have a great century, because that's ultimately what it is. We'll get it started. But as we honor America's 250, and I can't say that I got the 250. I tried doing that a couple of times, Bruce. I said, I got the Olympics, I got the World Cup, and I got the 250th year. They said, you didn't do that. I said, you're right about that. I didn't do 250. We happened to be here at the right time. That's all that was. But we thank God for the strength and courage and grit and devotion of black Americans who have helped make America the most powerful country in the history of the world we now have. And you saw that with our attack a few weeks ago on Venezuela. We have the greatest military in the world. We make the greatest equipment in the world. There's nobody even close. Nearly 10,000 African Americans fought for the patriot cause in the Revolutionary War. Did you know that? 10,000, and it's actually a number I've heard higher than that, helping secure our independence in every generation since, from the Buffalo Soldiers to the Tuskegee Airmen. Black Americans have stepped forward to defend the flag and to defend our country like few others, really, like few others. And you've never really been given the recognition that you should get for that. You know that, Ben? I don't think a lot of people have given the kind of recognition, but everyone knows all about the Tuskegee Airmen. They were great and amazing. The Buffalo Soldiers, do you know the Buffalo Soldiers? Good stuff, right? From jazz to the blues, that you know, that you do get recognition for. Jazz, the blues, from rock and roll to rap, black artists like Chuck Berry, Muddy Waters. How about Nicki Minaj? Do we love Nicki Minaj? Right? I love Nicki Minaj. She was here a couple of weeks ago. She's so beautiful. Her skin's so beautiful. I said, Nicki is so beautiful. Her nails are like that long. I said, Nicki, are they real? She said, she didn't want to get into that. But she was so beautiful and so great, and she gets it, you know, more importantly, frankly, she gets it. But black leaders from Frederick Douglass to Martin Luther King, right, little relative over here, have made our country freer, and really what they've really done is made life more just. And black athletes have inspired billions around the globe, from Sugar Ray Robinson Sugar Ray Leonard also, by the way, great. What a great fighter. Muhammad Ali, who was a friend of mine. I put a picture of myself and Muhammad. It was another piece of work. You talk about a piece of work. But he could fight, couldn't he, huh? Mike Tyson, boy, I tell you, Mike has been loyal to me. Whenever they come out, they say, Trump's a racist. You know, it's like a statement. Trump's a racist. Mike Tyson goes, he's not a racist. He's my friend. He's been there from the beginning, good times and bad. But Mike Tyson's a great guy, and he was so loyal, always been loyal. And Herschel Walker, speaking about loyal, how good a football player was Herschel? Herschel Walker, now he's ambassador to the Bahamas. I don't know, Bahamas, Bermuda. Is he Bahamas? Whatever. It's nice, a nice place. You'd like that, Bruce, wouldn't you? Bruce wants it. And a guy I became really, he liked Trump, Jim Brown. He was tough. He'd come in, he was very silent. He was silent but deadly. He'd come in and he'd look at people, and if he didn't like them, he'd just look at me and he'd go, it's no good. He wanted to rip their heart out. I would say there can't be a greater football player than Jim Brown. By the way, Lawrence Taylor, great friend. The great Lawrence Taylor, the greatest defensive player probably in the history of football. He's a great friend of mine. And but I'm longer off the tee than him. You know why? Because I take the club back further. He takes the club back this far, and he hits it 200 yards. When you can do that, you're strong. He is a great guy, I'll tell you that. And all of this is a part of the legacy that we celebrate on July 4th, 2026, because Black History Month is really all about American history. And this is a big year. This is a big year for you. During my first term, I was honored to deliver unprecedented victories for Black Americans and all Americans, frankly. But Black Americans, I single-handedly secured record long-term funding for. I told you, the historically Black colleges and universities. I created nearly 9,000 opportunity zones with our great secretary. And also, I think we have to do, as I said before, Tim Scott really, he came to me with that idea, and we put it into use, right, Scott? And I signed historic criminal justice reform into law. We got criminal justice reform. Just so you know, for 30 years, you, more than any other group of people, has been trying to get criminal justice reform, and they couldn't do it. And a group of people came to my office, and they asked me to do it. They couldn't get it. They needed 5 conservative votes in the Senate, and conservative was 5 conservative white votes in the Senate. And of the 5, all 5 of them were totally against, and I called them up, and they were great. They were great. And one of them was Senator John Kennedy, to be honest with you. He was not in favor of it, and I spoke to him, and he was 100%. He's a great senator, a great guy, and you know that he was a tremendous help. So we got criminal justice reform done and approved, and nobody thought it could be done. And it's no wonder that in 2024 we won more African-American votes than any Republican presidential candidate in history. And just over 1 year ago, we had a dead country. We were a dead country. Scott just said it. We were dead as a doornail. We had an idiot as a president. We had a man that was not a president. Number one, he didn't win the election. He was not a president. Yeah, right. He was a real beauty, wasn't he? He allowed 25 million people into our country. Many of them should not have been here. And we've done, now we have, by the way, we went from the worst border in history to the best, by far the best border in history. But I had the support of many people, Bruce. I had the support of many people in this room, and we've got right now the hottest country anywhere in the world. King of Saudi Arabia told me that. He said, you were a dead country a year and a half ago. Now you're the hottest country. We're the hottest country right now anywhere in the world. And you're a big part of it. And you're a big beneficiary. I tell you what, take a look at your 401ks. Has anybody got a 401k that's lower than it was? Better put your hand down. Lower than it was a year ago? They're double. I mean, they are through the roof. The stock market has hit 53 all-time record highs since the election. And earlier this month, the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose above 50,000 for the first time ever. Right, Scott? First time ever. And also, you know, they don't talk about this. The S&P broke 7,000. So when I got elected, they said, For the S&P to break 7,000 within 4 years would be a great achievement for the president, and for the Dow Jones to break 50,000 would be a great thing, but it's not possible. They were talking about in 4 years. Scott, they said in 4 years it would not be possible to break 50,000 or 7,000 under these two very important, call them a metrics. And you know what happened? We broke it before the end of my first year. So, right? So we did something. So they said we couldn't do it in 4 years. We did it in 1 year. More Americans are working today than at any time in American history. So we have more Americans right now working than at any time. And you know, when I say this stuff, I get the fake news back there, a lot of it. Thank you. I agree. Sometimes we have to be very careful because they actually go, and it's not pretty, Leo. We have to get Leo and the DOJ involved. But think of that, Leo, think of that. More Americans are working today than any time in history. And since I took office, African-American employment has increased by 182,000, the highest ever. Jobs. 182,000. Nearly 500,000 black Americans have rejoined the labor force since we took office. 500,000 wages for workers have increased $1,000, $2,000, even $3,000, and even sometimes, in some cases, $5,000 a year. That's faster than inflation. So wages have gone up at a much faster clip than inflation. We took over the worst inflation in the history of our country. They say 48 years or 49 years. I said that, I said, inflation under Biden has went up more than at any time in the history of our country. They said, he's not right about that. It's 49 years. I said, all right, I'll accept that too. Actually, I think it sounds worse, Harmeet. I think for some reason, because when you say the worst ever, but when you say the worst in 49 years, I'll take that, right? The fake news got me on that one. I think I was right, by the way, but I'll accept 48 or 49 years. But for the first time in many years, 100% of all net job creation is going to American-born citizens. Think of that, 100%. And in the last administration, it was going mostly to illegal aliens that came in, many of them murderers and others. Last summer, we passed the largest working-class tax cuts in the history of our country. That includes no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. And you're going to see that. It just kicked in on January 1st. You're going to see tremendous results, and they're already seeing it. And I think we're going to have GDPs. We're going to have numbers that nobody's ever seen before, Scott. Joining us this afternoon, and really somebody that is fantastic, Annetta Bradford. In 2019, Annetta and her husband opened an incredibly successful coffee shop in Arkansas named Hebrews 11:1. That's an interesting name. No one thinks that the no tax on tips matters. Well, it does matter, and it mattered a lot to Annetta. And she was able to grow her business just in a short period of time and hired more employees. And she's making a fortune. I'd like you to give some of the people in that room some of that money, Annetta. You should make it a lot. Annetta, come in. Arnetta, come. Where are you? Arnetta, come on up here, Arnetta. Come on up. Hi, darling. Please, let me move that down.
I can't do anything first but say to God be the glory. Amen. I have no business being here other than him having me here. And so, yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to preach. I'm going to settle myself. Thank you so much for inviting me and having me here. It's such an honor to be here today. Hebrews 11:1. People ask me all the time, why did I even open a business? Why did I even call it Hebrews 11:1? Hebrews 11:1 is my very favorite scripture. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. That scripture has walked with me, it has grown me from a little girl on up. Not having no longer my mother here, no longer having my father here, my husband not having his mother and his father here. We opened Hebrews 11:1 with no funding, no money, no big family investors, no business loans, didn't have great credit. It was us and faith in God. That was 7 years ago. But I ran that business with just myself and one employee. Then here comes no tax on tips. I was able to hire 7 more employees just by what she did. Not only that, I was able to open a second location on our college campus. Things are just going off simply because having now faith. And so I love the fact of that scripture. Now, I say all of that as to, I'm trying to stick to my little written down thing that I wrote. I don't know how to do that so well. But as a small business owner, I understand how critical support is. I understand that you have to have the right people that make the right policies for us as small business owners. So no tax on tips has been an extreme blessing for me and my business. Not just mine, but I know so many people across the country. I know a lot of us don't want to talk about the good part of it. We only want to share the negative, but I'm here today to tell you you've done a great thing. Thank you for just loving on us and showing us that even in small town Hope, Arkansas, and I have got to say this, I have the best governor in the world. I don't only just call Sarah my friend, I call her my sister. And so that's why I am here today to just tell you that no tax on tips has been an amazing blessing for me. President Trump has been an amazing blessing for me. And at the end of the day, Jesus has been an amazing blessing for me. I love you guys and thank you so much because I am a youth pastor, but I will not preach on today. I love y'all. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good job. Good job, huh? So thank you very much, Arnetta. And we can't provide opportunity for the next generation if we do not also have a thing called law and order. We need law and order. You know, Washington, D.C. is amazing. It was a crime capital. It was a horror show. A year ago, it was really dangerous, and now it's one of the safest cities anywhere in the country. And we're in Memphis, Tennessee now, where it's like a different world. In 4 months, we've made it safe. We're in Louisiana, as you know, or lots of other places, and we have the lowest crime numbers that we've had in many years. We have the lowest murder numbers in 125 years, since 1900. And that's despite the fact that a lot of people are here, but those people have been taken out. Lots of them have been taken out. That's why we stopped the invasion at the southern border. And just 1 year ago, and think of this, 1 year ago, we had the absolute worst border that we've ever had, and now we have the safest border that we've ever had. So it's going to be really something. 125 years ago, that's before my father was born. I had a wonderful father, but that was before. So we have, murders are down from 125 years. We had the best numbers. When you think about it, that's pretty incredible. And those numbers are made up by Democrats. Can you believe it? They don't want to give me those numbers. They can add a couple of people here and there. But I've also deployed the National Guard to bring back safety to Memphis and to New Orleans and Washington. And the National Guard has been incredible, and people are safe. In the case of Washington, the restaurants were all closing up. People were getting really badly hurt and killed, frankly. Many people killed. And now you can walk down the street and you have nothing to fear. We have one of the safest cities in the world. And it happened very fast, Bruce. One of those who knows the importance of this mission is Felicia Cook, a lifelong Washingtonian who tragically lost her grandson to violence in 2017. Felicia, we're so sorry, and you are a spectacular person. If you could say a few words, please. Thank you very much. Yes, come on in. Oh, yeah. Oh, help her up. We don't want any mistakes. Come on in.
First of all,
Thank
can I have a hug?
Yes, you can. Thank you. Thank you. That's so nice. I like her. Please.
I like him too. One thing I like about him, he keeps it real just like Grandma. I appreciate that because I can trust him because he tells exactly how he feels and what he thinks. Thank God for this president. I am filled, my cup runneth over. Because he allowed his constituents, his people, to come to my house to interview me, to talk about the murder of my grandson. It seemed like nobody cared. I'm an advocate for murder. I marched, I rallied, I pulled out other families in the District of Columbia that had murders and did not have answers. Ooh. We marched and we rallied, and nobody heard me, Democrats. Get mad at me. Until this Republican sent his constituents, his people out there to interview me in my home. Have you ever heard of a thing? Then they invited me twice before Congress to testify for the beautiful bill that's going to change crime in the district. If you kill somebody, okay, you take a life, you do life. Just that simple. If you do a harsh crime, you do harsh time. Just that simple. And then we need National Guard, and which we did years ago. He brought it on. I love him. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about that racist stuff. And don't be looking at me on the news hating on me because I'm standing up for somebody that deserves to be standing up for. Get off the man's back. Let him do his job. He's doing the right thing. Back up off of him. And Grandma said it.
Wow. That's pretty good. When is she running for office? Felicia, when are you running for office, please? You have my endorsement. You have my endorsement, Felicia. Thank you, darling. That's great. What a great, and it's from the heart. Your little baby, right, was just so horribly taken from you. Under the Trump administration, we believe that no community should be abandoned to the scourge of violent crime, and we're saving thousands and thousands of lives in many cities. And frankly, if these radical left lunatic Democrats would come and say, please help us, please, we'd stop crimes all over the place. And we're doing it in a lot of cities. Sometimes we have to force ourselves upon them because they're so bad. And I don't even think they realize what's happening to their cities and their towns. But every town that we go in, every city that we go in, like Washington, Felicia, you feel much safer now, totally safe. You can walk to a restaurant. The restaurants were all closing. Now you can't get a restaurant. The bad news is you can't get into a restaurant. But it's a great thing to see what's happening in Washington. It's like it's a hot place, and hopefully people will be coming in record numbers. And it's been, well, I know we need a little help. You need help in Atlanta. He just said, you're right, Atlanta, we could take care of Atlanta. I'll tell you what, you ought to get them to call me. We could take care of Atlanta so fast. They don't want to call. They don't want to call because they don't want to admit it, and they'll never fix it themselves. Don't forget, we move people out. We don't just go in and, be tough guys. We move people out. We take career criminals and we get them out. We bring them back to the country from where they came. And think of it. 90% of the crime is caused by 2% of the people. Think of it. So when you get the criminals out, you solve a lot of problems. Another way that we're fulfilling our duty to the next generation is the single biggest thing that's happened having to do with schools and education. It's called school choice in our great, big, beautiful bill. Our beautiful bill, which really covers 4 years. We put it all together. That's why we call it the great, big, beautiful bill. This will help millions of African-American children and ensure that no child is condemned to a failing government or a horrible school. And we have a person here who's fantastic on this subject. Greta, would you please come up? Please, Greta, come on up. Thank you. And her beautiful daughter. Thanks, Greta. Thank you very much.
God bless you. Happy to meet you, darling. Well, I ditto, to God be the glory. And we're grateful for our president. He's doing some tremendous work. And I want to remind those that don't know that this was prophesied. So you weren't supposed to have the second term when it came about. This is your season. And God said that it was going to be rough the first 2 years and that things were going to happen. But then the last 2 years are going to be great.
Well, I hope
and
so.
yes, you're going to do some tremendous things. And so for that, we thank you. On behalf of all the mothers all around the world, I'm from Texas. I live in a zip code that I didn't have an opportunity to have a choice to go to school. And so when I raised my children, I wanted a better opportunity for them. And I'm so grateful to ACE scholarships and all the doors that the president is opening for education. My son was in a school that he didn't have any voice, and he found drugs in school. And he died. And so I'm here today to just show my appreciation for all the moms around the world. We have a choice now. This choice is so important to mothers. I have a child that, because I had a choice, she's in private school. She's thriving. She's thriving. She's going to be an anesthesiology nurse, and she's doing great. And ACE scholarships was a big part of that. Changing education changes everything.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Changing education changes everything. In my zip code, it feels like we were locked in a cage, and being locked in a cage and can't get out. And because of all of the things that you're doing for education, now we can get out and soar. Our children can have a chance to be prosperous, just like other children. And I thank you for that. This is a great opportunity. So on behalf of all the mothers all around the world, I stand here and I give you your flowers while you can still get them. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Give me a hand.
Thank you, sweetheart.
And this is your.
Look how beautiful. What a beautiful thing. Thank you. Wow, so nice. Thank you very much. Thanks, Greta. So we're calling it end, and I just want to say this is an honor to be here. We celebrate Black History Month. We honor the memory of those who came before us by continuing their legacy and fighting for an American that's really an America that's safe and strong and prosperous. We now have a country that's bigger, better, greater than ever before. I want to thank all my secretaries and all of the people that came here. Our military leaders are here. We have a lot of people that are here, and I want to thank you all. But this is a very special group of people. So happy Black History Month, happy Black History Year, and happy Black History Century. Thank you all. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you guys for being here with me today. Happy Friday, everybody. God bless all of our Americans. I would like to say that we don't see color, even though we have pigmentation, color in our skin. It's not the skin color that defines us, but what's in our heart. And it is by our fruits that you will recognize who we belong to. We stand for America first. We stand for law and order. We trust in God and believe in God that President Donald Trump is the leader that we are to have today. So I'm very grateful, and all the glory and all the honor goes to God. Thank you guys for being here with me. Thank you so much, you mods. Love you all. I think this is it for me today, but I might try to come on later today. You know how I am. And then we'll do one more segment today in this Friday. Guys, keep me on my prayers. You guys know what the goal is. 2.5 months more, and we'll be able to officially say if we are on the ballot for governor here in Washington State running for 2028. God bless you, Baba. God bless you, Brian, Robert. Thank you all for your help. Much love to you guys. Keep praying for our sister Trinity, and for everybody else who is, been missing from the chat because they're very busy and things is going on in their lives. God bless you all. Thank you all for visiting with me. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you so much for becoming members and supporting my channel. We'll continue to keep fighting. I'm not going to give up. I am not going to give up. In God I trust. And in God we should all trust. God bless you. God bless your families. And God bless the USA. Let's go. America first.